You know, sometimes all you need is 20 seconds of insane courage. Just literally 20 seconds of just embarrassing bravery. And I promise you, something great will come of it.
For all the ladies in the place with style and grace, allow me to lace these lyrical douches in your bushes who rock grooves and make moves with all the mommies. The back of the club sipping Moet is you find me. The back of the club macking hoes, my crew's behind me. Mad question asking, blunt passing, music blasting. But I just can't quit because one of these honeys Biggie got to creep with, sleep with, keep the ep a secret. Why not? Why blow up my spot? Cause we both got hot. Now check it. I got more Mac than Craig and in the bed. Believe me, sweetie, I got enough to f*** needy. No need to be greedy. I got mad friends with Benzes. See notes by the layers. True fucking players. Jump in the Rover and come over. Tell your friends jump in the GS3. I got the chronic tree. Honey, really, I'm asking. Most of these niggas think they be macking, but they be acting. Who they attracting with that line? What's your name? What's your sign? Soon as he buy that wine, I just creep up from behind and ask you what your interests are. Be with things to make you smile. What numbers to dial? You gon' be here for a while. I'm gon' call my crew. You gon' call your crew. We can rendezvous at the bar around 2. Plans to leave, throw the keys to C's. Put the truck up front and roll up the next blunt so we can steam on the way to the telly. Go fill my belly. A T-bone steak, cheese, eggs, and Welch's grape. Conversate for a few, cause we gon' do what we came to do. Ain't that right, boo? Forget the telly, we just go to the crib and watch a movie in the jacuzzi, smoke L's while you do me. Imagine ends is giving ends to my friends and it feels stupendous. Tremendous cream, fuck $1 and a dream. Still tote gas strapped with infrared beams. Chopping O's, smoking optimals, money holes and clothes, all a nigga knows. A foolish pleasure, whatever. I had to find the buried treasure, so grams I had to measure. However, living better now, coochie now. Drop top BMs, I'm the man, girl, too.
Hey, hi, hello. What's up, Internet? How's it going out there? I hope everyone is doing well and good. I hope you had a decent Monday. Man, I hate Mondays. So relatable. Sorry I'm so late. I got an absolute shit ton done today. I noticed my hip was like starting to hurt again. I think I maybe just injured myself from sitting. That's maybe what occurred there. So, I got up and I cleaned the entire house. I did the laundry. I cleaned the oven. I swept and mopped and I vacuumed, okay? Okay? I cleaned out the cat's water fountain. What else? I feel like there was some more shit. Dishes. I did all the dishes. What else? I feel like there was more than that. I guess I made a new thumbnail for YouTube. I did do that, and that seems to be working moderately well. What else? Even Garfield emote, yeah. Hello. Like the view and lighting. Thank you. I didn't really change anything, I don't think. But thanks. Oh, I did just move this light a little bit. That's right. I took the the light for the plants to take the selfie on Instagram. I like the colors. Just a nice warm light. Oh yeah, I also took a shower and took selfies and did makeup. I'm on a roll. I did so many things. I posted. I did all the things. I took the trash out. I probably shouldn't wait to do all those things on the same day, but at least they're done now. You know? Feels good, man. I love that feeling when all the carpets are just clean. So good. Oh yeah, I brushed my cats. Man, I did so many things today. It's crazy. Way more things than usual. I was wondering, man, my legs are tired as fuck. Why? That would explain it. Oh yeah, I was supposed to stream yesterday, but I felt like shit. I was so tired. And I spent most of the day editing for that little fucking 10-minute YouTube video. It's crazy. I think it was 30 minutes when I started. I cut 20 minutes off. God damn, I can ramble. It's kind of painful watching it back. I don't know if that's good content. Stunlock 20 minutes on an article. God damn. But we've got down the conspiracy rabbit hole, fear and SadBoyz, which is Jarvis Johnson and Jordan Adika. That's gonna be fire. I want to start with that. And then we can get into the fascism and police stuff. I don't know how much of that I can get into tonight, honestly, but at least the philosophy too. At least that. But I hope you all are having a good day. Yeah, if you're in Southern California or Mexico, I hope you're okay. Taking care of yourself I hope your house it didn't flood. It's crazy. I was watching Caroline last night when her house flooded, like all of a sudden. She kept going down to like check that the garage wasn't flooding, and then it was flooding, and then her whole house was suddenly flooding. And Will was away, so that sucks. Like, she was just like there alone dealing with it. I guess the doorman was helping her, which is good, but man, that sucks. That's just shitty. I guess people were bitching about like Will should have been there. Like, what is he, fucking Thanos? What can he teleport now? Like, what did you expect him to do exactly? She's fine. I think she can deal with it. She's a very strong, independent woman. I trust Caroline to deal with it alone more than Will, actually. I don't know. I mean, it would have been helpful to have him there, but like, you know, there's only so much you can do to stop the flooding. You kind of just have to wait it out, like move the electronics off the floor, stuff like that. I don't know. People just being parasocial. I did think about it for a second, but I was just like, oh no, I feel bad for her having to do that alone. End of thought, moving on with my life. Like, Jesus. Boy. Oh boy. It's like misogynistic and also misandrist. Like, just expecting him to like jump to her rescue at any moment. Like, incredible. Oh my god. Levelhead followed me. Getting so many high-profile likes and follows lately. It's. I don't know if I'm ever gonna be used to that. I don't know. It's good. It just makes my heart beat a little bit. Anyway, I'm excited about this fear, and let's do it. No.
Luke Razul. Oh my gosh, I'm getting an emergency warning.
It says it's Saluk.
I'm also getting an emergency warning.
Oh shit.
I would go. What is the emergency warning? That it's flooding?
A flash flood. A flash flood warning is in effect for this area until 3 a.m. This is a dangerous and life-threatening situation. Do not attempt to travel unless you are fleeing an area subject to flooding or under evacuation order. Do
Sleepover.
not attempt to travel for podcast specifically. It says.
Shit.
What the fuck? I guess LA is like very
just ordered
common.
coffee.
Mine's telling me to do it.
Oh yeah.
Mine's telling me. What the hell? This is.
Oh, you don't know these people? They do. It's like a lot of React content. It's trying to think who you would know to compare them to. I don't know. I love them though. They're amazing. It's mostly just like comedy, chill. I'll just show you something real quick. I think I've watched them on stream. Oh, this is with Ethan.
This video, it puts Want to Be Ninja to shame. Want to Be Ninja is downright egalitarian. I just couldn't believe it. It's the most shocked I've been since Black White.
No, it can't be that bad. So
the captions, by the way, won't help. They don't. The captions are resisting. They don't want to be as racist as the song is, and they're just like, maybe he's singing about a girl. I don't know.
This shit is so fucked up. I watched this on stream. I think it was like on my streamathon. Like my first one. It was like 3 a.m. I came across this and I'm like, what the fuck is happening?
You're my Asian girl. You're my Asian girl. She's my Asian girl. Korean barbecue.
Wait. I'm just remembering I got claimed. But that's Jordan. Very awesome. Give him a good old follow. Jarvis. He got the handle at Jarvis, which is crazy. At Jarvis. He's been around for quite a while now, I think.
Everyone is mad at Instagram right now, and for good reason. The app used to be about photos, and now it's trying to do TikTok, like every app is. YouTube is becoming TikTok. TikTok has been becoming TikTok for years now. Also, Facebook.
There's also like the Twitterification. Like YouTube has a community tab now. I think TikTok is working on one, right? I think I heard that. Lots of text-based posts on Instagram as well. Like
book, I think, is becoming TikTok. I can't even tell you what app I'm using anymore because I just find myself scrolling a little vertical video feed of random things that probably did originate on TikTok, but now they're being recycled and repackaged on every other TikTok copycat. And Instagram is making a big push that is destroying the fabric of our universe. So anyway, the Kardashians posted this a couple of weeks ago, and the Kardashians are very powerful influencers. The term influencer is kind of overused these days, but the Kardashians are like true influencers. Like when Kylie Jenner was mad at Snapchat and she just said that she doesn't use it anymore. Snapchat lost billions of dollars of market value. So the Kardashians are aware of their impact and they use it.
God.
Oh boy, do they use their influence. Just like Kylie's using that private jet. Seems like nobody, myself included, is liking the direction that Instagram is going. By the way, follow me at Jarvis, always be plugging. So today we're going to look at what's going on with Instagram.
Wait, he has Instagram at Jarvis too? How?
At Jarvis, always be plugging. So today we're going to look at what's going on with Instagram.
How?
Why the Kardashians kind of have a point, and also why Instagram probably doesn't care what we think. But first I want to go into a little bit of history about Instagram and how we got here in the first place. Instagram.
Okay, I'm going to say this for later. This actually looks interesting. Yeah, he also does like little like video essay commentary stuff like that. But that's Jarvis's channel there.
So mean.
Yeah, they have a podcast together called SadBoyz. It's very good. Very good pod. They talk about a lot of just like interpersonal issues, and like they actually like talk about feelings, but also just the same stuff as in their content.
Hey, if you have to be on a podcast, you should definitely travel.
If I were to guess one, I would guess Kasim, because I assume that's where Kasim G got his name.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
Because Kasim G... No, he notoriously loves Aladdin. He's always said that.
Big Aladdin guy.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Wait, is it real?
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you kidding?
I'm not kidding you. I would put this.
Isn't his name just really Kasim? It's actually a name.
Water bottle, and if I lose, I will throw this water bottle away, and I really want to drink this water bottle.
It's right.
You're welcome.
What's the why does he need to know this?
Because he's probably playing Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
Or watching Aladdin. I can't relate to this
watching
character.
You can't go back.
This is dad.
Wait,
The Wikia for Aladdin.
So I can like go home, right?
Because you were
You
right.
can ignore emergency alerts.
Yeah.
Wait, did you guys get the?
I mean, you can. You probably shouldn't, cutie.
One today that was like earthquake, duck and cover. I was like,
Yeah.
Yeah, that one was a little wild because it was like only for like a maximum 5 seconds.
Right.
What is Okay, welcome back to Fear and the world is ending. And we're still
It's
here. And
over.
we're still doing a podcast. That's right. I'm joined by
like
Cutie
this.
Cinderella, who is
I work here.
graciously decided to show up for the pod.
I
That was
literally
great.
work here.
And of course we have two incredible guests here with us, the hosts of the Sad Boys podcast, who I did their podcast. I don't know why I said it like that, like I had sex with them last night.
All right, I gotta get going, man.
I had sex with them last
You're always
night on the
welcome
Sad
back.
Boys
Hey, yo.
podcast. You should check out their Patreon
Yeah,
for
it's on
that.
the Patreon.
Jarvis Johnson, Jordan Attica, welcome.
Thanks for having us.
What's going on, gamers?
Yeah.
Oh shit, is it Adika?
The world is ending.
The world is ending. Hurricane Hillary was
Wait, Adika, like the movie?
supposed to be Category 5, hit landfall around Baja, Mexico, California.
I said,
Baja, California, Mexico.
send her back to the swamp. Am I right?
That's
Yeah,
what
yeah.
I'm fucking dude.
Pokemon go to
finally.
the coast, more like.
Hell, dude. Oh my god,
laptop.
we got some
Emails
funny
or
people
Did
on
you
today.
do?
Hell yeah, let's do it.
Could I have like 15 minutes to come up with one?
Yeah, you need time. If you have a pencil and paper, you'll work
Yeah.
something out.
Free Biden?
and then we had an earthquake warning today.
Yeah, we had an earthquake.
Or
like-
earthquake, not
yeah.
even the warning.
I didn't
was
feel it. Did you
5
feel it?
point. Yeah, I did.
That's like a
5.0
really-
magnitude from Ojai, and that shit shook me a little bit.
Did
And
anything
I-
fall off?
No, but it shook me, and I was like, Dad. Immediately, I was like, Kaya. You know, I was
Right.
like, where? You
Get
know,
her under a
Kaya,
table.
Dad, and. Cause like the emergency thing was insane. It was like you're gonna die.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
They
It
hit
was
the
weird.
Extreme button.
I quite
Yeah.
literally looked outside. I was like, should I be? Right.
Can we get some scaled alerts?
Yeah.
Like just a,
yeah.
maybe.
Chill
And
out.
then when
Nothing
there's
to
an
worry
Amber
about.
alert that's like 6 cities away, something bad's happening.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Oh shit. Okay.
Or maybe like a countdown. Like it was like it's on the way, and I'm like, how much time do I have to prepare?
I like a countdown because it's adding suspense to
Yeah.
a real emergency.
But, like-
Wait, I got the earthquake after.
Really?
Like I got the run, duck, hide, whatever the fuck after
Yeah.
I felt the earthquake.
Oh, that's interesting.
Oh.
It's not very helpful.
I wonder if there's anyone in the world who I got it before, but I never felt the earthquake. But I wonder if there's anyone in the world who got it, and then they were like, "Oh, thank God, this alert
Yeah.
Oh, I
just
don't have any
saved my
data.
life." Yeah.
Killed by an
Shoot.
earthquake because your data's weak.
The fuck is this? I live in a rich neighborhood. What the hell's going on? I bought a $700 million mansion.
That's true. Is
Why are
it
you
getting
always
more and more
bragging?
expensive every time you talk about it?
Yeah.
Well, because the property values are going up.
yeah, of
Every
course.
Gucci shirt you buy increases the price of the house.
Yeah,
It
100%.
stays
That's
in.
how it
It's
works.
a part of the walls.
It didn't fall
That's-
over
that's
with the
true.
earthquake.
It did not
Sorry,
fall
I
over.
stare at random things. It's like
yeah,
I said.
you looked up like there's a crack.
I know. I was just explaining them. I'm a little. She's
a little fucked
special
up.
girl.
Wait, is that weird? I do that. Oh no.
I'm a special girl.
Hey.
You're feeling wonky. You feel like you're dying.
I ordered coffee.
I am dying. I feel a lot
worst
better
place.
now than I did earlier today. I did your podcast and I was so grossed out by it. I guess.
yeah.
I don't know what the fuck happened,
Yeah,
but
it's again the Patreon. We really just went ham.
yeah.
Good episode, but I can understand how that happened. Yeah.
Yeah, it was all right, and then I was just I've been peeing out of my butt
Nice.
for
Like a girl.
Why didn't he cancel the podcast, dude? Gonna give someone a stomach virus. Come on.
yeah.
I don't want to sit by him.
Yeah. I mean it's fine. I haven't done it
Like a girl.
in like a couple hours. That was really good.
No, let's not focus on it.
Hey, you got one.
Yeah.
Good
Hillary,
job,
right?
buddy.
Yeah, I've been peeing out of my butt like women do. Everybody knows
I'm
that's
not
how it
gonna
works.
correct it.
Classic.
I don't care.
Well, regardless, and at first I was like, oh, I must have, I've changed my diet around a little bit. I've been like trying to drink more protein shakes and stuff. So I was like, maybe it's the creatine and the, all the shakes that I'm having. And then I was like, oh no, like I can't even go to sleep. Like this is, side of me. I got to get it out.
Thought it was COVID, maybe?
Oh, no.
Today I thought it might be COVID because like at first it was just I'm pissing out of my butt. and it's fine.
The last time that happened to me, norovirus was going around, and it's like a bad stomach flu virus.
Maybe.
But I don't
The
think
worst.
it's contagious to like other people. I think you have to. I don't know where you get it.
You gotta get it on a microphone and then give it to friends.
Oh, you get it on podcast for sure.
Yeah.
Really?
Oh,
I think it
it's
is.
one of
Stunlock
those. It's
cables,
from
yeah.
the. It's from holding.
I thought it was contagious. Hang on. Gastroenteritis. Wait. It is very contagious and spreads very easily and quickly in different ways. You can get norovirus by accidentally getting tiny particles of feces or vomit in your mouth from a person's infected with norovirus. Hassan.
Onto a microphone.
Right.
That wasn't
We shouldn't
clean.
have mounts.
That
Fuck.
wasn't properly sanitized.
I literally the last time that happened to me, I got not only norovirus but giardia. And
Oh, that
what
one's
dogs
a
that's
bad
what I
one?
was gonna say. Like the last time I had heard that,
What? What? Apparently, you can get it from someone just breathing around you. Oh my god.
it was because my dog had it.
Yeah. That's
You
like
eat
that can
rice and
dry you
broth?
out. You need so much.
I ate like the what is it called? It's like the fart diet or something. It's not fart. It's like four.
Oh, it's like an acronym?
It's an acronym for like basically crackers and apple
He'd be eating that ass.
sauce and stuff like that.
Right.
Because it's supposed to stuff that hardens your stool. This is good.
It's only for crackers.
Scatological
It's just-
conversation.
Girl lunch.
Yeah, girl lunch.
Well, girls don't
Real.
fart
Not
or
allowed yet.
poop.
If they do, the little amber
That's
alert comes
true.
up.
Yeah.
Look out!
That warns you get under it, duck.
Run!
Yeah. But
You have
go-
any idea what it could be? You just
no, I have no fucking clue. The last time I felt this way though, it was COVID. But I mean, I got tested.
Yeah.
you got the vaccine, right? So it can't be COVID.
Yeah. Well, no, I didn't actually. I've been immunized.
Oh, right. Yeah, you're
I've been immunized.
So,
No, I didn't get the vaccine, bro. What do I look like? I have autism? Like, what's going
Oh
on?
my god.
No, because I did take other vaccines. God damn it.
You start talking
Stop
about Sonic
it.
law.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm vaccinated. I had COVID last year. I have been fine so far. It's just I felt like my joints were in pain, and then someone in the chat said something to me that made me realize, like, fuck, they might be right. Because this kind of happened to me last time as well. They were like, if it's not COVID, you probably just feel joint achiness due to the pressure change, like old people do.
Oh my god.
And I realized, like, fuck you.
Okay. I've literally always felt that, so that sucks. I've been old since I was born. I guess. I've literally always felt that way. It's definitely gotten worse as I aged, but was there a point where you didn't feel that? Because it's always caused me pain.
But also, I'm in this
Oh,
weird predicament where
yeah.
I'm like, which one's better?
Yeah.
Like, is it better to have COVID and tank it, or is it better to just like be old?
To just be bad for about 3 months every year.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with old. COVID's got too many variables.
And you can't
That's
do anything.
true.
Too late.
Yeah. But
So-
it spices up your life though. It's like New Game Plus difficulty.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
you get like a different experience.
all
for
of a
sure.
sudden you're like, why doesn't anything taste the same anymore?
Yeah.
What's happening?
You got like a bonus ending.
I loved
Yeah.
those Amazon reviews where
Why do I have chronic fatigue every day at 4 p.m.? So fun.
people would
Candles.
yeah, with candles.
Yeah.
They'd be like, these don't smell like anything.
Yeah. Have
Too
you
hot.
guys started noticing that
Yeah.
Yankee candles are just not hitting the same? Speaking of conspiracy theories, I want to start today's episode with my favorite current conspiracy theory. I love conspiracy theories. I think TikTok has rotted people's brains. And I want to show you guys
Truly.
this one. March, can you pull up Balenciaga mannequin? Have you seen this?
That sounds
Have
like
you-
a-
That
were you-
sounds like a sick
God.
album
Sounds
title.
like an activation phrase.
Balenciaga.
Oh God, I think I saw this on his on stream. This is a wild thing.
It's on
Assassin.
TikTok. Let's look up.
Balenciaga.
My man has no idea how to spell Balenciaga mannequin.
Dude,
Mannequins
broke,
are-
broke.
Up there it is. Let me see.
I learned how to
It's
spell
long.
mannequin
It's
from
an
the
8-minute
Katy
one.
Perry
Yeah,
song.
yeah, get that. Any of them will do because they're just all going to be equally fucking unhinged. So
That first one, Balenciaga
Wait, what? What Katy Perry song?
hyper-realistic.
I would go on TikTok because the one I watched earlier on stream today actually had 649,000 likes, not views, likes.
Hell yeah.
Wow.
And if you see, dude, my man wrote Balenciaga with a B-E.
Broke,
You're out of control. Yeah.
Sorry, dog.
Okay, that one, Romans
That's how you know he's
8:18. I'm gonna go
Balenciaga.
Romans
Salt,
8:18 is
yeah.
the second one. Click it.
Raw
Show it.
fashion.
Love it. I'll be back in a second.
Oh my God, this is so loud.
I feel like this is gonna hypnotize us or
Dude, the
something.
freaking chair guy.
Yeah.
Walking away.
Dude, this guy
Truly.
always leaves his chair right before I react.
In the year of 2020, he
Classic.
disappeared and he was never seen again. Still to this day in
Oh my
2023,
God, that's so much louder than them. It's so much louder. God damn it.
he vanished.
But comes to find out he was actually missing, and he's been missing since the year 2020.
Did you hear about the Balenciaga missing person? No.
It's just
This model for Balenciaga, his name is Christopher G. And he posed on so many different ads for Balenciaga, different shoots, everything. But he went missing.
Until this lady came out with this video. Here it is, of a mannequin.
Okay, people, tell me something. This boy look like somebody dead and bomb.
This mannequin
This boy look like somebody dead and bomb.
It is a very creepy mannequin, but mannequins are all very creepy. You know? It's always creepy, and it's creepier the more they make it look like a real human. You know, give me a shapeless gray blob of a mannequin, please. I don't want them to be staring into my soul.
This mannequin is him. This mannequin looks.
I mean, they might have modeled the mannequin after him. You know what I mean?
A little bit too realistic. I mean, a lot of people was digging deep into their mannequins, Balenciaga mannequins, and then they noticed something very, very strange. If you look at regular mannequins, compared to their mannequins, it's completely terrifying.
What? Wait, what?
I think we need new hobbies.
Yeah. We need to invent new hobbies. It's true. It's true. You know, like murder mystery boxes, but for conspiracy theories. Conspiracy mystery box. But it doesn't have anything to do with like real life things or people.
That's a Shane Dawson-ass conspiracy.
No, you cannot tell me that they mannequins don't look real. People believe that this guy who vanished was waxed. Look at the features.
Waxed? What do you mean waxed? You can't just wax a corpse and throw some clothes on it and put it on display. It doesn't work that way. How is it staying upright? How are they preserving it? Is it a mummy? Why doesn't it look like a mummy? The fuck are you saying?
Scary, like. Look at the fucking hands, bro. You see the indent in it? It almost seems like you can see the vein or some crazy.
Right.
That's crazy.
His hands.
Are you suggesting there's still blood in this person who is a mannequin now?
Is as real as mine.
Now, like I said, this is where these theories is about to get real dark. Now, remember when Balenciaga was basically about to get
I need this to be bigger. It's so small.
canceled?
What? What is this?
Oh, and they had the Balenciaga gets canceled
because
a
of
lot.
all of the demonic stuff with the kids and the
right.
covers of all of these magazine
Also,
articles.
the
Do you think
stuff wasn't demonic
Balenciaga
for kids, it was, like,
deserves to be canceled right
it
now?
was, like, sexy. It was sexy.
I think they do.
Balenciaga could kiss my.
Yeah, cancel them.
Like,
That
it
guy
was
looked
so
like the
bad
man.
for them that they put out a whole article
I think it's
to
okay.
address
Yeah.
this issue.
Balenciaga has always been a brand known for ad campaigns, products, and runway shows that push boundaries and make audiences uncomfortable.
Well, people believe that this guy was a sacrifice.
They don't do that to mannequins so detailed like that. Where they do that at?
I'm
not allowed to touch, but he said, do not touch, because I really wanted to touch now, you know?
Right.
Guys.
Yeah, they've just gotten better at making mannequins. Like, they can just 3D print them now.
Guys, wait, pause it for a second. But also, this happened in a movie.
Oh,
House
really?
of Wax with Paris Hilton.
And everybody knows movies are real life. So.
I see.
We gotta show this guy like a
True.
game, like on anything in Unreal Engine. It's
Yeah.
like, that's my friend.
No, I don't.
Yeah.
I don't want. No, I don't want that. I feel like he'll die. Like he'll have an aneurysm.
I love when the main conspiracy guy was like, people started looking through their mannequins and they realized their mannequins aren't nearly as good as the Balenciaga mannequin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw someone do a Fortnite dance in real life, and then I saw them do it in Fortnite. They put them into the video game, guys. They put them in to do something.
Probably because most mannequins are in malls and don't need to look good.
They said that man was suing them for copying his jacket. He was going to win, but then he went missing.
He's
and
going to win
then
what?
His mannequin came out.
Like, what was he going to win?
The suing.
He was going to win the case.
Idiot.
Oh.
So, let me tell you something. Every part of this is fake. Well, I mean, watch the rest of it. I guess that's why I was
He was
like,
gonna win the suing. I don't know what you're talking
Finish the video.
And nothing on this mannequin looks like it's a plastic or it's wax. This guy was fully powdered.
What do you mean it's wax? Did you touch it? Did you scrape the wax off? What do you mean?
Like the face was so powder, you could use your nail and scratch it off.
Oh. Never mind. I don't know, dude.
Wait. That's just a clip from the movie.
This is the movie.
Yeah, it's from House of Wax. Yeah.
Hold tight, man. Hold tight. I'm gonna get you out of this.
Ew.
Right, yeah.
He had ears, a hole in his ears and his nose, and I was like scrutinizing it, like, this cannot be, how could they do this, you know? It was just too real.
Waxed his body, put him out in the public. And that's why when that lady saw him, and even when she was getting interviewed, she said, because she saw him in person, behind the window and close up.
If they murdered someone to win a lawsuit, why would they just display the evidence? What?
And she was saying some things.
So I was looking through the braille, and he looked like he was looking directly in my eyes.
His eyes are moving, but he can't talk or move any other part of his body. Dalton is trying to get the wax off him while Wade is trying to use his eyes to send a message to him that somebody is coming. But he doesn't get the message, and the masked man comes from behind.
I pulled my phone out and I started videoing. I was saying, I'm not allowed to touch, but he said, do not touch, because I really wanted to touch now, you know?
Now, before you say something like, why would they sacrifice him? I do not know. But apparently, for these companies or some of these people out there, it works. Believe it or not,
exactly how she
lost fashion in the year of 2020.
He like will just play this music and play the sound cues and then just say whatever.
But come to find out, he was actually missing.
No.
These companies will do and then just insert whatever.
The Target conspiracy.
Yeah.
They'll have products that are other places as well.
There was a guy.
Why would they do that?
Yeah. No one has seen this shirt. Is that Chris?
I believe him.
yeah. I mean, it's true. It's true as fuck.
Yeah.
Did you see the movie they made about it?
I can't believe that. Balenciaga's crazy for that one.
Wait, what's the pitch?
All Target did was make the kids gay.
A little out of pocket, Balenciaga.
Okay, but Balenciaga, they sacrificed humans.
They sacrificed Christopher G. Has anyone, like, I feel like this is easily debunked by just finding the model.
yeah. Or
Wait, he went missing.
He's missing, yeah.
Oh, right. He's turned into wax.
Dude, you sound insane.
You
Yeah.
can't find him. He's missing.
Right,
tried to
right.
get
He's
a
missing
jacket?
because they said so in the TikTok, so it must be
That
true.
makes
The crazy thing is Balenciaga probably paid that guy to make that TikTok for like, you know how like all of these companies are like trying to do viral campaigns, like trying to fit in with the youths now. Like the Grimace shake, people are that wasn't planted because McDonald's could never be that smart.
And it was his birthday.
But they do
but it was
want,
his birthday.
you know, but they're like, how do we get our version of that?
Well, and also,
I can believe that.
This is only incentivizing me to buy Balenciaga. That's cool.
Yeah.
I hope they did do it.
I hope
want the
1 in
jacket.
1,000 sweaters turns you into a wax figure.
That
Like
actually
Charlie
would
in the
be
Chocolate
super
Factory.
sick.
It's like a Counter-Strike crate. Like,
Yeah.
Oh, I wanted a knife.
A society where the people who didn't turn into wax have to live on, and then they've all got like horrific backstories about like my mom turned into wax and now I live on for her.
It's too realistic.
Yeah.
Well, if there's one thing to not include, by the way, in a clip like that, is evidence that you can make a mannequin that good. A movie where they did it 10 years ago.
Also, models have famously good skin and like almost like no blemishes and kind of look like, you know, maybe a really good mannequin at times.
Are you guys ready? Are you guys ready? So part of the conspiracies QD
So you've
already
learned about
elaborated.
this.
I watched it earlier and I was like, this is real. This is the most real thing that's ever happened in the
Right.
history of reality.
Of course, I have to support him.
Yes.
Naturally.
We have a podcast together.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, you were
and
tell me about
against your will.
and then you know, I looked at some of the naysayers. Yuck. There's not a lot of information on it for such like a viral story and such a niche part of the internet that it's like only the crazies have gotten involved in it. So it's like they made up stories about how like he designed the jacket and like Balenciaga kidnapped him and then
Does anyone
turned
just
him into
like have this guy's name at all?
Wait, they just made up the story about the jacket? That's just not true at all? Dude, what the fuck? Is he missing? Is that true?
Yes, his name is well, they
Christopher
call him
G.
Christopher G, but
Oh.
I think it's like Chris something. He has an Instagram. I found it.
Is he alive?
Yes, very much so.
Wait, when?
And also went live on Instagram and talked about how fucking stupid it was that people thought he was like actually missing. But it doesn't end there.
No, he's
if you go
missing.
back to that video
Oh
and
my
go back to
God.
that TikTok,
Did you hear the TikTok?
Did
was
his
very
mouth
spooky.
move suspiciously up and down?
That's so crazy. Imagine waking up to TikToks about yourself being missing. What do you do? Like, now I'm here. It's me. I'm fine. What the fuck? The internet's a wild place. What are we doing? Why are we doing this?
Like a puppet?
Yeah.
Actually, you couldn't see his mouth, which is a big part.
Oh.
Of it. You couldn't. He was like,
Wait, can we
Scroll
see,
down
I
a little
see
bit?
What you saw?
I want to see what you said.
yeah. Hold
I
on,
don't
hold on.
believe you.
Wait, no, not too much. Someone basically in here actually literally. Oh yeah, here it is. Jizzy Zero says he actually got on social saying that he's okay and he's not missing anymore. But I still believe the entire theory behind Balenciaga.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
And then no.
Why? Wait, why? Are there others?
Look at the response. Crazy, because they could have made him record that video before doing this. Flushed face. It all makes you wonder.
It does.
Yeah, I was just wondering if anybody else was wondering.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Oh my god.
thoughts exactly. Elvis? Anyone? Tupac?
Cover-ups?
Famous people can't die, simply.
No.
Yeah.
Things can't
But
be
this guy's not
normal
even
at
famous.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no moderately successful model for Balenciaga. What was the claim that he had? He made it. He designed
Will
it.
you-
That's all that stuff is made up.
Will you
They,
go
like-
to his Instagram, March?
Well, there's a whole trend on TikTok of people telling stories that aren't theirs, that are like stories from Reddit and
Yeah.
stuff, and
Oh,
they
yeah,
read them in
creepypastas, yeah.
first
Dude,
person.
I want to start doing that, but my friends' stories.
Yeah.
And then they'll be like, "That's my story." I'm like, "No."
Well, this guy, I like.
it,
I just want to lie about it.
I just did a video on this, and it's like a guy who he was like, yeah, people keep asking me about my wife who's in a wheelchair, and I'm like, guys, I'm just a really good storyteller. That's not my story. And it's like, you told the story in first person.
Oh my god. Oh, there's our guy. There's our man's.
We go ahead and pull up Resident Evil 4.
Christopher G. Wait, it is Chris Tyler, yes. Underscore, 2 S's.
You are.
Yeah, he's deep.
Okay. On it, he's wearing Balenciaga.
Oh shit!
It's made of wax.
Dun dun dun.
Oh, this will be good. He'll probably get
And
a
by
lot
the
of
way, the
followers.
funniest thing is like this happened in 2019 originally, but it's being picked up now. Click on that one where he goes. Live for today, plan for tomorrow. Clearly dead. He's dead. Yeah, he's dead because he's fucking super dead. All right, click
also,
next.
I love how a normal, like, cringy post now in this conspiracy.
Is this a mannequin of me?
164 weeks ago.
And I don't know if this is like his actual Instagram, but he did go live on Instagram. I mean, I think it is his actual Instagram. Yeah, he did go live on this.
Wait, what? There's only 6 posts, dude. What? I don't know. Weird.
This Instagram, I'm pretty sure, I guess. Yeah, and he was just like, yeah, bro, like people think that I'm dead, and like they made me into a mannequin or some shit. And you know, I always like to joke, like there's that common meme on Twitter where it's like, if you show this to a Victorian era child, like he would perish, right?
Right.
Like, and I like to joke that, you know, we have reached like medieval peasant status with like how fucking stupid people are because of TikTok, where they think like ice giants are real.
I
Right?
have seen that. Those are pretty cool though.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense now that there's been so much challenging of reality and so much like reactionary stuff on TikTok that now experts are being doubted. So if experts are being doubted, then all fact is doubted. So we basically do live in
the... Yeah, it's just a wildfire of misinformation. And it goes so rampant because it's so easy to quote and stitch and respond to comments in videos, and like it's crazy. Crazy. I don't know. It really seems like TikTok doesn't do anything about conspiracy theories. Like YouTube like stopped promoting that shit at least as much. I guess besides fucking Shane Dawson, who's still Hitch trending like every time. Oh.
The guy that saw the Giants also went missing. Just saying.
He did not. So that's another one.
No,
there's always
missing.
He's made of wax.
There's always like this element of like, oh, this guy went missing. And then you find out like, no, someone just said that on TikTok.
Yeah.
And then people ran with it like,
I'm gonna start the rumor that Hassan's missing.
That's a good one. He's live all the time.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do it tomorrow. I'm gonna do this big elaborate video about how like he got taken out because of saying the word cracker or something.
Yeah. You have to play that song though, otherwise
I
it's
will,
not believable.
and I'll be really convincing. I just watched the Amber Heard documentary, so
dude, people do this all the time already. It's kind of fucked.
I can channel it.
Maybe you scratch the sound on the face to reveal some wax.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not real. He died.
I'm not.
What the fuck was that about, by the way? They were like, do we really think this is wax? Look, you can peel wax off them. Like, yeah, I know. That's wax. That's what wax is.
Did you see that Asmongold was in the Amber Heard documentary?
I saw there was a piece of it. Was it like pro Amber Heard or anti Amber Heard?
It was very good. Well, it told the whole story. You leave it thinking, man, they both got some problems.
Damn, that was my position, and for that position is the reason why I'm still hunting.
Same. Yeah. Mutual abuse. For sure. I don't know. I think it's hard to say, and we really don't need to speculate. But there is such a thing as reactive abuse. It's a thing. But only 2 people in the whole world really know. You know? It's like just very intrusive the way people talk about it. I hate it.
Hunted by Amber Heard stans. Did you guys know? And it's funny because like I do agree with a lot of the Amber Heard stans, even on like certain aspects of the Johnny Depp saga, where like one of my favorite things to do is like I'll look at like Johnny Depp Twitter accounts that still exist,
Porn.
like definitely
He
not.
loves it.
Cool clips of him like riding a pirate ship.
No.
Fan cams.
They'll post photos of him and they'll be like, he looks so happy, and it's just the most hurt man you've ever seen. Have you ever seen like leathery?
He looks like he's been waxed.
Yeah. Like he looks like he got the Balenciaga treatment.
There's so many there's already so many conspiracies about cloned people. You know, like Paul McCartney is a clone, Eminem is a clone.
Oh,
Hey, that one's real though.
Avril Lavigne.
Avril Lavigne, yeah.
That's also real.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Sorry.
Oh, sorry.
Right theories.
When I said conspiracies, I meant confirmed conspiracies.
Yeah, okay,
Confirmed that we've all been had the wool pulled over our eyes.
I scratched their face to reveal that they weren't wearing.
The
that he wasn't the real
Slim
Shady.
Interesting. The Britney Spears one is all because the Britney Spears one I could almost buy because when they show comparisons, like her face does look really different compared to like most people's faces as they age, but also trauma can do that. But there was like this DJ from Texas or something that was like given like hush money or something because I guess he went on the DJ line and he was like, last night
not the DJ line.
I don't know.
That's for honesty.
What the DJs do. And he was like, last night I saw Britney Spears and Justin Timberlake get in a car accident and they both died. Yeah. And so I could believe it more if it didn't include Justin because I'm like, that's the same Justin.
Yeah, that is the same Justin.
Why would some fucking random ass DJ just like happen to be there as Britney Spears and Justin Timberlake are dying in a car crash?
He takes off his headphones.
Also,
oh no.
Yeah. Also, well, I mean, he did say it on
He
the DJ
saw
line.
it and he took it to the DJ line.
I have to report this.
There's like a red telephone, like the one between fucking American presidents and like USSR back in the Cold War.
DJs are the original podcast.
Yeah.
So
that's actually how I found out about the earthquake today was through the DJ line.
Yeah.
The DJ line
DJs
has
never
gotten
lie.
bigger.
They're so good at natural disasters and also celebrity death sightings.
Yeah, they get the BPM to match your heart rate, so you know they're telling the truth.
Yeah. The thing is, what's really fascinating to me about that conspiracy is that like Justin Timberlake's clone looks identical to Justin.
Wait, Justin doesn't have a clone.
But he died too.
I don't think he. I think it was a mistake.
Oh, the
I
DJ
think,
line.
I think he was the DJ was just right about.
It was
Britney.
just a mannequin of Justin Timberlake, and he mistook it for the real
Because
thing.
if you guys don't know, I personally saved Britney from her conservatorship.
Oh, thank you.
This is not even a joke.
That's
Which,
true.
by the way, this podcast's official stance is that like she still does need medical help.
Yeah, she does.
Like we don't believe
I
that.
feel bad I saved her.
Yeah, we don't. This podcast official stance was free Britney. And now that she's free, maybe we should shackle her a little bit. But not in like a conservatorship.
To save me from all stands, I plead the fifth on any opinions about these things.
Oh,
I was actually just thinking about it, and I believe.
Oh my God, come on. I mean, I think everyone should go to therapy. At this point, like, there's no way you don't have any trauma whatsoever at all. You know what I mean? No one's making it out unscathed. Therapy can help everybody.
What the audience does.
Yeah, I believe what
Really?
everyone,
They
like
were thinking.
every individual opinion,
Listen,
I agree.
Dude, I fucking love K-pop.
These guys are YouTubers, okay? YouTubers are a different breed. They do not engage in problematic behavior unless they're like only engaging in problematic behavior. There's no like, oh, I did some stuff that was controversial.
Hey, it's scary out there.
Look, I love speaking truth to power. You know what I mean? I think Britney, again, can you just dub in the like good or bad or whatever.
Yeah. Well, okay, the Britney Spears divorce thing is really interesting to me. Like the Sam Asghari guy. Do you see he posted like hiding from the stands? He's like, "Help me pick my disguise."
Oh,
yeah, it was weird.
Help me pick my disguise.
Yeah, it was like him with like terrible wigs and mustaches.
Like a dress-up DS.
As if posting your disguise would work. You're trying to hide. You don't want to reveal what your disguise is. Dumb motherfucker.
Game.
Yeah. And then
he's having fun with it?
He's having fun with it. It's kind of odd. I don't know.
Played a game of Sims and he was like, he went
It's
live.
just like I just don't get it, like, because she definitely is not doing all right.
No, I mean, I wonder if there's a prenup.
There is.
Okay.
And he doesn't get anything.
Great.
And so he's taking her
See you
to
later.
court.
Why?
Yeah, because his attorneys are
He's a fucking piece of shit.
arguing that the prenup is not enforceable, which is probably not gonna work.
Oh.
And he's demanding.
Y'all make sure to get one of
alimony and
those
stuff.
prenups. What?
Yeah.
Dude, fellas are on top. They're fellas can be gold
say
diggers
that.
too. It's 2023. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean,
Finally.
it's clear that it's so weird. They were together for like 6 years, then they get married, and then a year after the marriage,
Conservatorship or the marriage?
married.
Okay.
They were like in a relationship, I guess, during the conservatorship.
Oh, right. And then the weird wedding stuff. Did you see the wedding stuff?
No, what is it?
Oh,
March, pull it
March,
up.
you might be able to find it. There's wedding stuff with like Paris Hilton went, which like Paris Hilton and Britney were like never friends. Selena Gomez went, Madonna went, and there's like a picture of it. So
Britney Spears
Google.
You think they were just
Britney
like
Spears wedding green screen, and there's people that like point out like she like glitches out and she's invisible.
By the way, I love conspiracy.
What? Wait, what?
Conspiracy theories. Cootie is a Swiftie.
I don't mean to.
So she has so many conspiracies that she believes.
Incredible.
They're gonna be down in those TikToks. It looks like.
She's a treasure trove of conspiracies.
Yes. How this
that
possibly
one.
got back on
That one.
topic to conspiracy theories is pure magic.
Why do I keep catching stuff? Okay, Selena, I love you. Team Selena.
From the DJ line.
Like, the veil is lifted, okay? No, Sam has a very, very amazing
And like all of her guests
green
are wearing
screen room
sunglasses
where
for some
he
reason.
can do all kinds of stuff. I mean, go to his Instagram. He shows it all the time. He's an actor. He's a writer. He's a director. He's all into technology.
I don't know what this lady's
like,
saying.
you don't
all
think
into
he's-
technology.
he-
What's
like,
going
he was
on?
I don't know. She's being annoying.
I feel like this is like
Oh,
AI
but
generated.
See how? Yeah. So they're talking about how like Britney disappears behind things.
And then whatever tattoo is on Madonna's arm, if that
Wait,
is a
what?
tattoo, I don't
Disappears
know.
behind-
Because like she's pointing at like Madonna's.
But the tracking of the sleeve when she lifts her arm up, you see the tracking of her sleeve. Boom.
First of all, it can't be
Then
a
you
green
see
screen.
whatever black tattoo
What? I do not see it at all.
is on her arm.
It literally can't be a green
Wrap
screen.
around.
She has green
right
on her.
there.
And to what end?
I mean,
Like,
it was.
It would
kinda
have to be
there
like
and this
It was
way, but
manually
then it
tracked.
A
goes
purple
back
screen.
and then comes back.
Yeah.
a
it's
lot
just a
more
very
prominent.
talented like
and dark.
rotoscoper.
Yeah.
It's like a college project.
So
Yeah, it's like
these are just very.
it's all those VFX artists who
strange
just voted G.
occurrences
It's
along
Corridor.
with Madonna's
Yeah,
hand
Corridor Digital did the
disappearing
anime version of
into
this.
her dress. I mean, yes.
I think it's more likely that all these celebrities attended her wedding because they're clout sharks.
Dress. I mean,
It's
along
Corridor.
with Madonna's hand. These are
Talented like
and dark.
rotoscoper.
Yeah.
It's like a college project.
so.
Yeah, it's like
These are just very.
it's all those VFX
strange
artists who just voted G.
occurrences
It's
along
Corridor.
with Madonna's hand
Yeah, Corridor Digital did the anime
disappearing
version of
into
this.
her dress. I mean, yes.
I think it's more likely that all these celebrities attended her.
Wait, disappearing. That was just perspective. That's why I couldn't. This is perspective. Look, my hand disappeared. Look, it's magic. It's gone. Oh my god. The sleeve fell down over her elbow. It's right there. See?
Anime
Disappearing
version.
Like-
into her dress.
Am I missing
I
something?
mean, yes.
I think it's more likely that all these
Oh, is she talking about this hand?
celebrities attended her wedding because they're clout sharks.
Yeah,
and,
for sure.
And Britney was kind of popping.
I was gonna say it feels very like Cloud Sharky, especially if they weren't super.
They're
close
wearing
beforehand.
sunglasses because they have like doll's eyes, like a deer. They have scary coke eyes.
Yeah, they're yeah. I mean, it's Paris Hilton and Madonna are the ones that are wearing sunglasses. I feel like they would do that.
But
That's normal.
What is this like?
Yeah.
I feel there's like two subgenres of conspiracy theory, right? There's the one that's just compelling and cool and gets clicks, and then there's the one that's a cope. It's like I don't like the way this thing is, so actually that's not real.
Yeah. Like no one in the world likes
Classic.
Leah Michelle. Sorry, Leah Michelle.
Oh right, so
they've all decided she can't read.
That one is good.
That one,
okay, so messed up.
that one I like to believe.
I like that one.
Yeah.
I like to believe that because it's fun.
Yeah, me too.
There's a part of me that feels bad for Leah Michelle. I just feel bad for anybody. Who
I
was
feel
on
bad
Glee.
for everybody always.
Yeah.
I didn't know
I'm an
shit
empath.
about Glee. Empath.
Epic.
I didn't know shit about Glee, and then I found out way too much.
Yeah.
About what has happened on the show.
I watched it back in the day. It was like a big deal, and it was just
It was a big deal.
yeah. It was like it aired after the Super Bowl.
And
like
when the
premiere
girls
of it.
kissed, people freaked out.
Yeah.
My favorite is the the Down syndrome school shooter.
Oh, that wasn't. I don't miss. I might have missed
All right.
that
How long's the
episode.
show?
What do you?
I'm not even kidding. That was
No,
like
I think like yeah, like someone
Oh,
brings a
no.
gun to school because of bullying or something.
yeah, and I
Yeah.
think he's like
In Glee.
Yeah, Glee had a lot of weird stuff.
Is later on?
Can you?
I think Glee wanted to be Degrassi, but with musicals.
Yeah,
he was looking for Drake.
Yeah.
Ryan, like I feel like Ryan Murphy would.
Yep,
do some shit
it's
like
already
that.
there. Down syndrome shooter.
Yeah,
okay, you have to watch this.
This actress.
It's
yeah,
1
she
minute
was-
and 43 seconds. You have to watch this.
Yeah, she brought a gun to school.
Oh,
Becky,
I watched
Becky,
this actually. Becky was kind of the best though.
I like that you guys all just like wiped this memory from
I
your
did.
brain.
This guy could be Justin's clone.
No, sorry, sorry, Matthew Morrison. You'll never be him.
I explained them to Principal Figgins.
I heard. But I don't accept that. Bringing a gun to school, that's not you.
I was scared, Coach, about graduating, be out in the world with no one to protect me.
Honey, I told you, you will always have a place here.
No, I wanted to be prepared and protect myself. I need help.
Yeah, that's
I don't know what to tell
a
you,
wild
Will.
shot.
I stand
Yo, what the fuck? I was not expecting that at all.
by my actions. Becky, give me the gun. Where did you get that?
It's my dad's. I wanted to be ready.
Oh, I know, sweetheart. Don't worry about it. I completely understand. Just give me the gun.
So that's it. This is how it ends.
Bro,
Give
she
me
got the
something so I
deagle.
can talk to Figgins. Let me help you.
Oh
It-
no,
oh,
no
oh.
trigger this one.
I'm sorry, Coach. I'm sorry.
I
Oh,
forgot
she
it
takes
went
the
off.
fall. That's why she's been fired.
Yeah.
She did a despot.
It's okay. I'll take care of
I
it.
really like Jane Lynch, but I think she
Keep
like
an eye on
did something
Becky.
weird. a couple
I
years
remember
ago.
that
She's
too
one second,
vaguely.
I'll be back.
She
Like
fired
all
a gun in
kids.
her office.
She gets
Right.
scared
Yeah,
sometimes.
at school. So one of my favorite things is like old TV shows.
What is going on?
Is it just
man?
a slide? Okay.
And there it is.
Is it
There
always-
it is.
it's
Look
always
who
like
it is
this, or-
right there. Oh, hello. Don't let her out, please. So, one of my favorite genres of things that I am fascinated by, I guess, is like early 2000s TV shows that try
Yeah.
to tackle complex issues.
Big fan.
Usually revolving around like disability activism.
Oh yeah.
Like I think that's like one of those
Mhm.
moments where it's like, why was the
Why? Why did you do any of that? Why?
Yeah.
Down syndrome girl?
We were. I feel like as a society, we had to go through that to like get to where we are today. With like a bit, but like we were really like falling on our faces. Like like Moment of Truth. Do you remember that game show? Yeah.
Yeah, I watched it on stream.
Where like
Marky Mark.
Yeah, Mark Wahlberg, friend of the us.
Friend of the us.
The other one. Mark
Yeah.
Wahlberg, the other one.
Not as hateful.
Not
Yeah,
the,
yeah.
not the karate one.
Yeah, he doesn't have any karate hate crimes.
But yeah, no, there are so many shows like that where they try to do something good, but at the same time, every question for a woman is like about like slut shaming.
Oh
her,
yeah.
or it's about like body stuff or eating stuff.
Yeah, greatest
Does he
show
wear
of all
makeup
time.
all the time. Yeah, insane show.
You guys ever
Classic.
dabble in 13 Reasons Why?
Coffee.
No.
13 Reasons Why, as the show goes along, I couldn't help but watch it because it becomes very self-conscious about the fact that it has nothing to say. It never had any insights about suicide, but then as the show goes along, they have to keep it going because the show's doing well. It surpasses the book. The book is only like the first season.
Wait, so like, so I don't know anything about this. So what happens? Like the person commits suicide?
Yeah, one of the kind of
GG's,
main characters. Yeah, she crushes it, Minecrafts herself. And then
Okay, so what are you supposed to do after that? The show's over.
It's a lot of people laughing. It's mostly just a show partying,
Yeah.
chuckling. But she dies, and then she left 13 tapes. Is the idea? It was you 13.
Oh, she
people's
died
fault.
in the beginning.
Oh yeah, and the problem was is it felt like very revengey. Like people were like, "Oh, revenge suicide,"
And-
romanticizing revenge suicide.
Like vindicated. She's the winner. Like it's definitely
Yeah.
framed that
Also,
way.
didn't it literally have like a noticeable uptick in teenage suicides after that show or something?
But they have to. I think it's every episode of the second season maybe opens with the cast along with Selena Gomez, a co-producer of the show, sitting there and literally with the least amount of spirit going like, suicide's gay or whatever. Like
Every
don't do suicide, it's so
episode?
weird. I don't know. Like,
Bro, you knocked the wind out of the sails in that show at that point. I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm trying to watch something where suicide is sick, dog. What the
final
fuck?
season, deranged. Like every episode is This one has a school shooting.
Yeah, I thought
this one the
had,
character
like,
gets deported.
The,
it is
the grape. Someone got graped around with.
Oh my goodness.
Every season 1 is the that's like the catalyst.
I remember there was something where a scene was so poorly received that they had to edit it out of the show, like on Netflix. I think it was a, suicide scene.
There is
I guess trigger warning, but you have to start that at the beginning of the show. We need to all sit down and talk about suicide before we go into.
There is a fucking tutorial in that show. Like the scene, at least when I saw it, it's so specific.
That's crazy. Like, they do the whole like you got to go along the river, not across, like that type of shit.
It's on screen.
Worry though, it was the same year that Logic came out with his song.
Oh,
dude, it counterbalanced it out.
Yeah.
Actually, maybe that's the reason why people.
Logic agreed to come on our podcast.
And he killed himself.
Oh no!
Rats.
Who can relate?
Wait, we're YouTubers. We got it.
Wait.
Jordan, chill. What the fuck?
He was like, "Oh, sad boys. Like, I love that. I'm sad. I'm a sad boy."
Our pitch to him was, "Hey, we're biracial too," and he was like, "I'm in."
We can say the
but then
word.
He went on tour, and his manager ghosted us. But I just think it would be really funny to have him on. I mean,
it was my fault.
Nice.
I had to leave town like the day.
Oh yeah, they pitched us a day, and then Jordan was going to be out of town.
Damn it! You got to make that.
I think we'll make it happen.
Technically,
is Bobby biracial? The fuck?
Our thoughts exactly.
Yeah. So.
Dude, ordering this toast took us a minute.
I think that song probably also contributed to the suicide rate increasing.
I think
people heard it and they were like, "Dude, nah, enough."
It feels like nobody can make any kind of media about suicide without fetishism, because it's just what else you say. You just say it's bad.
So sick.
It's cool.
It's the coolest.
It's actually very bad.
None of you watched Degrassi?
No.
I only saw ads for it because it was on the.
God, I loved that show. I loved it so much. I watched it fucking religiously. I would watch it whenever the fuck possible. I loved it so much.
In or Noggin, and I didn't have that.
Dude, it was so sick.
Oh, it was like a Nickelodeon. Channel.
It's the show where Toby, the guy Toby, comes and he does a school shooting and he shoots Drake.
Oh
yeah.
And Drake,
that's why Drake was in a fucking wheelchair.
I think it's like a super early episode.
Why does he shoot Drake?
Because Drake was in.
I thought that was a different episode. I thought he got stabbed
in the hallway, and he was like, "No, no, no!" And then he shoots him in the leg, and he was the all-star basketball player, so it was really sad because now he can't play basketball. And
Jimmy shot him in the leg.
Jimmy, yeah, he shot him in the kneecap or something.
And
then I believe he actually was it Toby? No, Toby died. Toby died in that. It was
Spoiler
actually
alert,
tragic.
cutie.
Yeah, because Liberty was pregnant with Toby's baby.
I have no idea what any of.
But
these
also,
things.
really quick, Google. Her name was Manny. This was this is just important because I know we have a very large gay audience. Manny thong episode clip.
Something's wrong with my brain right now. Just the series of words.
Yeah.
Sorry, we're awake, right?
This was an awakening.
My look still.
Yeah, so she's gonna walk away in the hallway. There it was. It was right
It's
in
like
the
a
middle.
Saved by the Bell, right?
Right there.
That's what the show is.
Yeah. No, but like,
What do you think?
she buys a thong. It's like a big deal.
I think they shouldn't sell this at the mall.
And they're like, "This is crazy." Then Manny wears it to school because she's being a little.
Whoa!
Yeah. Yeah. She wears that to.
Oh my god, I remember this.
School. You're a teenager watching this.
Oh, the 90s.
And you're like, I could be. I could be. That's what you say.
You could do it. You mean?
I could be.
I could shoot Drake.
For Manny Santos, yes.
Wait, so that's what happened?
It was a sexual awakening.
Toby saw
Manny's whale
the
tail.
thong and was like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna.
No, Toby
bring an
actually wasn't
AR-15.
the shooter. I lied. Toby died by the shooter.
Oh, the exact opposite of being.
Wow.
Yeah.
You were way off.
But I remember.
Yo, what the fuck? That could not be more wrong. I didn't remember. That's been so long.
But Toby got killed by the shooter. The shooter's name was something. Rich?
We don't need to.
I think the shooter might have been
Gone
right next to him in that picture.
His name was Shooter.
It was like his best friend accidentally killed him or something.
We really don't need to dive into Degrassi deep lore unless
I don't
you
know
want
why
to.
we shouldn't.
I mean, Degrassi was a weird show because it was
True.
trying to
Where's the Degrassi PowerPoint, cutie?
do all of the stuff that we're talking about. Where,
But
like,
way before.
way earlier,
Way before
yeah.
Glee did it.
When
Way
did this
before.
show air originally?
I want to say like, well, it aired for a really long time in Canada.
I think
where-
it could still be going.
Yeah, I think you're right.
It's called
What?
it's Generations.
Yeah,
Drake is still in it.
Like in the canon somewhere.
Yeah, he's like
it's a high
still.
school show, so it slowly.
Yeah, it like rotates out.
Yeah, it
His
rotates
kid is in it
past.
now.
And so everyone remembers the cast that they watched.
But still, like 2001
Let's bring
to
it back.
2015 is wild.
We bring it back. They have TikTok now and body dysmorphia.
I watched, I think, 2 or 3 casts. I loved it. I don't know.
Wait, it started. Wait. It started right after, like a month after 9/11.
Well, what was Canada to do?
You know what's crazy? 24. Do you remember that show?
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Oh, yeah.
24 aired a month after 9/11.
Yeah.
Which the timing is insane for the most like pro torture. Like
I mean, I'm sure you know this already, but 24 was also stated as a reason for why enhanced interrogation is actually perfectly acceptable.
Yeah.
What?
Antonin Scalia, rest in piss, a Supreme Court justice at the time, literally cited 24 in his opinion for why enhanced interrogation is perfectly valid.
24 is the catalyst for like a very.
Ain't no fucking way, dude. I think I've heard that before. I don't want to believe that that's true. It's like Idiocracy, but it's like it's so much worse. How is this timeline real?
Specific era of spy and agent stuff where it's nominally kind of libbed up, like the Bourne conspiracy or identity and all that. It's the same thing where it's silently relatively progressive. Hey man, the president's black, okay?
Yeah.
Now the villains, they're a different kind of brown. Don't worry, like they were obviously the scary ones, you know, the like TSA ones.
Yeah.
It's all good. Yeah. But the first season of 24, I was susceptible to it. I was in college. I'm like, this is really cool.
Oh, I was in high school. I watched it, and then I also listened to a podcast at the time. It made fun of it, but it was like, but they were like watching it, like laughing along because it was so stupid. Like the show is just like so over the top.
I never watched 24, but my favorite of that genre is Homelander or not Homelander. Homeland.
With the guy from Billions.
Where the guy from Billions is like a terrorist, is like a Manchurian Candidate style, like, you know, a person who was like been converted to the bad guy.
How and why did they just order toast? Why?
Side. And like the first season you're watching and you're like, oh, they're just straight up saying he's a terrorist because he's like converted to Islam.
Oh. And every time he goes into a fugue state, it just plays like,
yeah. And like
awesome.
Watching that, like we're giving it a rewatch recently for a friend's podcast. I was like, God damn. Like the only thing that they have him on, like the suspicion is literally that he's Muslim. And like secretly.
And she's right.
I mean, yeah, and at the end of it, she is right. He is Muslim, exactly, and also a terrorist.
He did everything right.
Yeah, I just, there was a lot of that happening on TV post 9/11.
Yeah, it's so weird to almost feel like I snapped out of a trance where I was like super.
I did everything right and they indicted me.
Like the kid named Ahmed in your fucking grade.
Thankfully,
there was no Muslims.
I was in class with all the like UF faculty's kids, so it was a diverse group. Thankfully,
I thought you were gonna say, thankfully there was no Muslims in my class.
No, there were, and that was like important. I feel like for my development as a high schooler.
I watched the documentary on the Boston bomber, and it was so sad because one of his
because he's hot.
Didn't help.
Oh. Are you thinking of the right bomber?
No, I know what you're saying.
It's beautiful.
Not hot.
Boston bomber. He's the sexiest.
What?
He is definitely as far as like
it's like young Cohen.
What? The brother? Which brother? The older one?
No, the young one.
No, the young one.
Yeah.
That photo is like that goes hard. That's like
but the young one. Anyway, you're a problem. You're an issue.
Wait, which one was he saying?
Oh, the young one.
No, the young one.
The young one? What are you talking about, Azan? That's a child. What? That's a child. What are you talking about? Yo, what the fuck is this? The fucking Rolling Stone. What the hell? Why did they do... Is this real? Is this real? Why does it look so cool? Yeah, what?
Yeah.
That photo is like that goes hard. That's like
but the young one. Anyway, you're a problem. You're an issue. Go to TikTok, you.
It looks like a spell.
It's a TikTok.
Real.
No, the Boston bomber, like his friend, when people pointed out that it was him, his friend was like, no way. And the friend in this documentary had this long thing about like how there was such bad Islamophobia because of 9/11, especially in Boston and all that stuff. 9/11. Oh yeah. Sorry, I thought I said I'm dyslexic. I thought I said 2011, and I was like, that's not when it happened. 9/11 happened in 2001. And then...
Yeah.
Why are you looking, why are you looking at me?
You celebrate it.
You're the
You celebrate it. It is 8:21. And he wasn't even here. You know, it's probably for the best.
9/11 guy.
Yeah.
And so like he was saying like, oh, it finally been enough time that the Islamophobia was finally getting better and blah blah blah, and like, you know, and all the friends in that friend group had really dealt with it, and then come to find out it does end up being an Islamic man that like just recently went back to Muslim and got radicalized and Islam
the country
Islam and got radicalized Muslim, like, and then came back and did the bombing, and it was like it was just so sad for them because he was like, that was our friend.
No, I know what you mean. I remember following the story because I was in college.
Sad.
Yeah, I was like the same age, I think, at the time, and
that long ago?
Yeah, it was like
So,
2011.
you're like so old.
Yeah.
That sounded mean.
Yeah, was it that long ago? I was, yeah.
It felt more recent than that.
No, but yeah, it was a lot. I remember being in my plastic mattress in my college dorm and reading on Reddit, which is something you should never do. But it was like one of my first like, experiences with that. And I think it was one of the situations where, I mean, I could be wrong now because that stuff is super out of date, but where the brother also, like the younger brother was following along with the older brother.
Yeah, that's kind of how when it went to court, that's the direction they tried to go with it. But even, I mean, the younger brother had some damning things as well. The craziest thing was like they had all these bombs, and at one point there's like this standoff, the police versus the two brothers, and they're in this road, and the police are hiding behind cars because the brothers are legitimately throwing pipe bombs at them and exploding. And so one of the cops jumps out, goes around behind the houses, and can see the brothers behind their car that have been throwing pipe bombs. And so he just starts shooting. The older brother just like charges towards him and is like that guy in Lord of the Rings that just keeps taking like,
with Boromir.
Yeah, Boromir, that's what it is. He's the ugly one, no one cares.
Relax.
Anyway, keeps taking the arrows, is going down, and then like but this guy is just shoot, and then apparently the cop runs out of bullets, and he's like, fuck, and then the brother just starts charging towards the barricade of police officers. Yeah, just charging, and so they just start shooting him, and then two come from the side, tackle him down. Younger brother, the whole time, everyone forgets about him. They're like, we're focused on, you know, freaking the juggernaut over here. And then so the younger brother gets in the car that they were hiding behind, starts driving towards the barricade, full speed, and like they're on the ground handcuffing the brother, and the younger brother drives over because the two police jump off because they see this car coming towards him. He drives over his older brother and drags him like 6 feet, and and like they described it as like ripped him from shoulder down to hip, and that's ended up like
the wheels on either side. He
like hit him, and like essentially that is like the death blow was the younger brother, who then ran away and was missing for like 2 days before
they found him in a boat.
Yeah,
when I was looking at it on Reddit, I remember the younger brother was still missing, and that was like that was so crazy because everybody was like, "Where is he?" You know, it's kind of like when 9/11 happened. I didn't understand how war. I was like 8 or something, and I was just every time I heard a plane overhead, I got scared.
In Gainesville, dog.
I didn't know anything. I was a child.
To be fair, though, that fear that you had was in the heart of so many Americans that is like half of the reason why police budgets are the way they are in like these bumfuck little shitty ass towns where they have like armored personnel carriers for no fucking reason.
But then I like went to the 5th grade, you know,
Yeah.
and then like
And you
I
were
grew
fine.
out of it. Yeah.
Yeah, the 4th Harry Potter book came out.
And I was like, oh, okay, yeah.
I was like, oh my god, he's like me.
Yeah, the goblet.
Fun fact about the anthrax mail bombings that were happening.
When?
Well, it's during 9/11.
Oh, I thought they were happening now. I was like, oh my god.
No.
I can imagine they still are now and then. It's pretty easy to do.
Yeah.
What's your address again?
the anthrax was actually connected
That's
to.
why I make my assistant open my P.O. box. Good luck. Sorry.
The strain of anthrax that was actually connected to the mailings is very traceable. It was connected to a facility utilized by I think it was the FBI, if I'm not mistaken. It could be the FBI or the CIA. And suspiciously, that evidence is never seen the light of day.
Whoa.
Because they were burned.
If it's the
facility burned
FBI,
down.
it's very possible they did it by accident.
No. It was deliberate. It was targeted to make everyone feel like 9/11 can happen everywhere. Yeah,
makes sense.
I
situation.
also around the same time remember whenever my mom would ask me to go open the mailbox, I would be scared. And I would like shake the mail and stuff.
That's so
But
weird.
I was like a child.
You were such a fucking neurotic child.
I was just a neurotic child.
Shaking it wouldn't help. You would just be spreading it.
How old are you in that?
Like 8 or 9.
All right, okay. I guess that's like the uncanny valley period where you are as susceptible and you have access to information, but your brain is still motion like susceptible.
And adults who are explaining things to me they're not good communicators about this stuff. You know what I mean? Like there's like, something crazy just happened.
The keywords stick in your brain.
I'm just like, I don't understand. Like I didn't know the difference between Iraq, Afghanistan, like any of these.
Don't worry, neither did George W. Bush.
Yeah.
So
I still get. One of my biggest fears is accidentally saying something wrong where the FBI is like, well, gotta take her out. Like, I assure you, FBI, I feel strongly about nothing besides Taylor Swift being
I love you so much.
Why?
You're the best.
The FBI
That is
could
such a
accidentally take me
psychotic
out.
fear to have.
What? Hey,
We're
pretend
YouTubers,
you're
we're
Austin
on your
Show right
side.
now. Be on my side.
Yeah, no. I am on your side.
Thank you.
I'm
He's neurotic.
I'm afraid of cops.
This guy bought a house. He's a big socialist.
I just like, if I'm not afraid of the FBI coming in to kill me, like, you're so fine.
Okay, conspiracy theory. FBI killed Marilyn Monroe. Definitely.
Okay.
For the record. I believe this, actually.
Real.
Because she was fucking both of the Kennedy brothers.
Yeah.
She's crazy for that. You
She
go,
rules.
queen. That was crazy.
It sucks that they made a wax or whatever.
Yeah, they turned her black.
The FBI Balenciaga.
But
Still
but
at
then
9 episodes.
they like the reason that JFK was like the whatever the big government people were like, stop talking to Marilyn, because she was also hanging out with like some Cubans, and they were like, oh no, she's gonna be this, that, or the other, and he was like, I will not stop hanging out with her, and so they fucking killed her.
Yeah, do the impression.
Damn. Pussy so good.
What?
Do the impression
Yeah, that was
again,
really good
Kennedy.
impression.
Kennedy?
Yeah, it sounded kind of southern.
I will not stop hanging out with her.
I did not have sex with that
kind
woman.
of sounds like Clinton.
That was some good ass pussy me and my brother both enjoyed.
Sounds like a lawyer.
Yeah.
I ain't no big city lawyer.
Now listen here.
I do declare.
I do declare.
And pussy too.
Notice his lover died, and then so did he.
Whoa,
Wow.
like everyone that's ever lived.
JFK committed suicide.
Yeah, what if
13
I
years-
accidentally...
Suicide by cop. Just putting his head up.
Yeah.
What if I accidentally flirt with the wrong president, and then all of a sudden I'm freaking dead?
How many presidents are you flirting with?
Any that I'll see.
What about the right? What's the right one?
president.
Any that I see, oh my god, flirting with Trump.
No, I could be in a coffee
flirted with
shop.
the
I'm
wrong
charming.
president.
Yeah.
The wrong one.
No,
Yeah.
but I do, like, if they're like, are you armed? And then I'll be like, I'm not armed, but I forget a word, and I am armed, and then they're like, light him up. Like that, it feels like it could happen.
If I'm shy and nervous, I'm
right?
Like, I don't maybe.
Yeah. Are you armed? I don't know. Maybe.
You're just a bad.
I have
test
2
taker.
arms.
There's I don't know what you freaks, what happy pills you're taking. You know, I'm on the lamotrigine, have been for a long time.
What, I don't know what that is.
It's a stabilizer for bipolar stuff. And
I take Klonopin.
What?
Yeah.
Not me, dude. Skill issue.
I had to go to Benzos.
Oh hell yeah. You got any? No, we'll talk afterwards.
I'll be fine.
But lamotrigine has this weird effect where like no, it's a good stabilizer, but it also adds this tiny degree of clarity. Like cleaning the house, for example, you don't necessarily do it obsessively, but you're able to structure things much more easily, at least than I could, which is part treatment, part the med itself. But you take it too late, or you forget to take it entirely, it starts affecting your brain in ways that like is genuinely difficult to describe. My partner described it the other day perfectly as the one time she forgot to take it and started driving, she forgot how to drive. Like your hands, you kind of know what you're doing.
That's fucking terrifying. What? I haven't heard that. I've heard some of the other side effects, but that is awful. Awful.
Doing it like holding her the side. If I got swatted and they turned up and it was the morning and I haven't taken my lamotrigine, I genuinely would be like, shit, man, should I have a gun? Fuck, man, I can, yeah, okay, whatever. It's like you just can't.
You like think it's Nazi zombies all of a sudden. You're like, yeah, let's go, baby.
Yeah, that's terrifying.
Yeah,
Holy
that's
shit.
scary. I'm sorry about that.
Oh, it's sick.
I'm fine if I don't take my Klonopin. I just forget that I exist as a human.
You can't shoot me.
I just start. I'm like, this is a dream anyway, bitch.
Yeah. What's another conspiracy theory? What's a conspiracy theory you're logged into? Your 100 thumbs.
100 thumbs up. I mean, it's hard to even declare this a conspiracy theory. I guess the anthrax thing would technically be considered a conspiracy theory, but it's not really a conspiracy theory. It's one of those things where like they'll probably inevitably declassify it, 25 years, 30 years down the line, and you're like, oops, we did that.
Yeah.
But I guess like Jeffrey Epstein did not kill himself. That's one I don't believe is.
Oh yeah, easy. That shit, there's no way. There's just simply no way. There's way too many, like, suspicious things around it. Like, they didn't check on him. He was on suicide watch. And that fucking rope, it's not hanging anybody.
It's a conspiracy theory either.
He was depressed.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, he was shy.
Yeah.
He was an empath.
He was
He had no friends in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't believe that.
Oh, yeah, I mean, yeah.
Giselle Maxlane,
Ghislaine Maxwell.
No, that was right.
She's still alive.
Yeah, because Jeffrey Epstein is the one that had all the blackmail.
Giselle Maxlane.
Wait till she collaborates with Balenciaga.
See, this is why you shouldn't collect. What if I accidentally collect blackmail? Hassan?
You're worried that you're like gonna be working alongside Mossad and the CIA in like
what if I do this
in like an
accidentally?
operation where you're sex trafficking minors that end up potentially
you miss your
allegedly having sex with world haters.
Here's my Klonopin, and I'm at a coffee shop. They're like, "Will you hold this briefcase?" I'm like, "Of course, sir."
Yeah.
Hey,
my pleasure.
Cutie, would you like some compromise?
Yeah. I mean, you'll be fine. I believe in you.
You're gonna be so embarrassed.
I'm gonna be like, fuck,
How'd
I
I
can't
get
believe
myself
that
into
happened.
this situation?
No, I'd be so mad. I'd be mad as fuck. I'd be like, why didn't you show me the blackmail immediately? What the fuck?
I would try to get it off of me and put it on him.
Yeah, I would literally.
I deserve to live.
Secrets. I want to know all the secrets. Like, do you ever think about dying? Where like I kind of like when I die, I kind of want like a checkpoint screen where in a video game
like a grade.
where you get all of the like itemized points from all the achievements you got in your life, and then they tell me all the secrets I want to know.
Or like intel found 0 out of 4.
I'm pretty sure it just goes dark, my dude.
Probably.
Yeah, for you, man.
But I can dream.
That's called MDMA.
I've got a whole plan.
No.
Yeah, you're gonna need DMT for that.
No, by the way, I don't think this is gonna happen. This is like what I want. Like,
Right.
I wish I got like congrats level.
It's gonna
complete.
happen.
You could join Scientology. They can make that happen for you.
What if shifting's real and we just do that?
Oh yeah, like the TikTokers. They're like, I am Ariana Grande or whatever.
I'm at Hogwarts.
Yeah, I just don't think that like if something is real, it's not happening on TikTok. Like if any other social media platform, I'll be like, yeah, maybe. I'm like, if it's on TikTok, I'm like, fuck no.
I'm not editing something on my phone.
There's 100% chance it's fake if it's on TikTok. It's true.
If I could go like fight a hippogriff or whatever the fuck they're doing at Hogwarts.
Yeah, it's just not
I'd be there
happening.
forever. I don't want to be here.
You know what's crazy? I was in like 3rd grade or some shit, and I had a dream about attending like a sleep time dream, not like I have a dream.
Well, he had that while he was asleep.
Oh, I wasn't quoting.
I'm glad you clarified.
Quoting Martin Luther King for the record.
No, I got that. Oh no, he wasn't.
No, go ahead.
Wait, and you want to make it clear
No,
that you
I-
did not have that.
That'd be a cool thing too. He also got killed by the FBI.
Yeah. Oh, there's a conspiracy theory there.
Um,
Yeah, but that's you
So
know.
I'm sleepy time dream. I go to Hogwarts, and me and Malfoy have this thing. Like, you know, he's kind of into me. I'm kind of into him. It's a whole thing. Blah blah yeah, blah 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 blah. Fast forward like 6th grade.
Wait, how old is 3rd grade? I don't even.
I'm like 8.
That's
yeah.
My
too
parents
young.
are going through a divorce. I'm like, you know, coping. I'm in Hogwarts at night.
That's all of us were at Hogwarts at night in 3rd grade. Like it's okay.
Fantasizing about Draco Malfoy puts your current boyfriend in like a much different consideration.
He's
for
not
me.
mean enough.
Oh, you want?
I
him
need
to be
him to be meaner to me.
Oh, okay.
If I could have one request from Ludwig, please be meaner to me.
He's like Draco Malfoy when he's being.
Oh my god. Ludwig combined with Draco Malfoy would be fucking like a super villain. A Disney super villain. He would be like Elon Musk or something.
All soy, and he's just like, you have to kill him.
I do think, you know, credit to J.K. Rowling about all of her beliefs. No, just kidding. Mudblood is a really good slur.
Oh,
it sounds so real. It sounds like I would not want someone to call
She had that dog in her,
Yeah,
for sure.
she knew what she was
She was
doing.
very good at that.
She was
She-
fully
so much
in her
of
bag.
the books are kind of mid, and then like you get to slurs, like she's great.
Yeah, what the fuck?
This is wild.
She nailed the slurs real good, and then like Asian characters, Cho Chang, not great at that.
No. Rules.
But
That was my crush when I was growing
was
up.
Cho Chang?
J.K. Rowling.
Yeah,
it's a good one.
Oh.
Yeah, J.K. Rowling.
My,
I love MILFs.
I'm in 6th grade, and someone was asking me who my 3rd grade teacher was, and I was that dream was so convincing that I was like, I didn't go here in 3rd grade. I went to Hogwarts. And then they looked at me like a crazy person. And I was
And
like,
they were like, you need to get on Cologne.
no, but then I sat there for a second. I was like, I'm joking. And then I was like, oh my God, that was just a really convincing dream, because then I realized I was like, oh yeah, my teacher was Miss Smith, and I did
You
that
would
this
be a
year,
TikTok
whatever.
girly. If you were like 14 right now, you would be a
Yeah.
TikTok girly.
I know I would.
Cra-
I'd be lost.
Oh, you'd be so crazy.
I'd
You'd
be
be
so
like
lost.
making the most unhinged Taylor Swift conspiracy theories. You'd be leading the charge on the Swifties.
To your credit, I had a dream when I was that age that there was a $20 bill under my bed, and when I woke up, I checked under my bed to see if it was there. I didn't remember it until the 6th grade, and then go check under my bed.
that's
So
a
that
big
was
problem.
the extra leap. That
Also,
you took.
one's a little bit more believable than the other.
Well,
One's a fictional universe that you imagine you went to school
Also,
at.
the fictional universe where I had money as a child.
Yeah.
It was pretty fictional at the time.
But I believe it was in 6th grade that MLK went to go do that speech. But
Yeah.
he had the dream 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Like, I'm little black boys. Not now.
Yeah.
A funny story. My sister, who looks like me, by the way, she has brown hair though.
Shocking.
She's like 4 inches shorter than me. Looks like me.
I've never met your sister.
You've never met my sister.
Will I ever meet your sister?
Maybe.
Okay, good. You're not immediately.
She's a mom of 5
That's awesome.
because she's Mormon still.
Yeah.
She's very, very sweet. But she auditioned for the role of Cho Chang.
What?
I love
She
that.
filmed an I wish I could find the audition tape for the life of me.
No one else, just Cho Chang.
No, because she was like a big theater kid. She was a big theater kid.
A weeb.
and she was actually really good. Like she'd get all the main kid roles, like
Right.
Annie and shit, and she like would perform. She traveled. We grew up in Washington, but she performed in the Olympics in freaking Salt Lake City. Like
Wow.
she was pretty talented.
She wasn't part of the
But you wasn't-
She wasn't transracial.
Yeah, not talented enough to be Asian.
So then the Harry Potter movies comes out, and she loves them, and she like relates with Hermione because she's like nerdy and she's got frizzy brown hair.
Right.
And so my dad was like, audition. And she was like, for what role? And so they went to the casting website and they were currently auditioning for Cho Chang. And so.
And nothing else? No other female roles?
I guess not. I don't know. Well, she needed the lead.
It would be a lot funnier if Hermione was available and she was like, no, Cho Chang.
Who?
That's my shit right there.
Yeah, I'm not a fucking nerd.
She submitted a reel and she submitted headshots for Cho Chang. And I thought it was hilarious. Even when I was a kid, I was like, that's crazy. You're trying to get that.
That's wild.
That's so fucked. Just canceling your sister. Oh my god.
Access to these.
I don't. I have
would
no
love
clue where
to.
they are. If I did, I don't.
I would love to make fun of your
I'm pretty sure she did a British
sister.
accent too. Like
I'm glad she did a British accent.
Yeah. The broken Asian.
Any makeup done at home?
No.
Taped her eyes.
She gets it way wrong. It's like a kimono. Like, I don't think she's.
I don't think she did any theater after that either. So I think that was like, I think that broke her.
It's kind of fucked up. It's kind of fucked up because like, oh, we're making fun of her, but Scarlett Johansson's a girl boss. You know what I mean?
That's
it's messed
true.
up. Oh my God. Did you guys know Scarlett Johansson was 17 years old and Lost in Translation?
What?
How fucking nuts is that?
Oh.
Yeah.
There's one where Keira Knightley is like 16. Oh, isn't it Pirates of the Caribbean?
It might be.
Oh my God. Could you imagine? Sorry. Fantasy for a second. I don't know if this is appropriate.
What?
I'll say it out loud.
What are you
Don't
saying?
worry, let me finish it.
That topic
Oh, wait.
talked
Keep
up.
it for behind the paywall. Keep it for behind the paywall. You're about to get unhinged.
Ain't no way. What, dude? Where is this going?
Patreon.com/fearn. What do you guys want to promote before we leave? Because we're about to do the paywall portion.
SadBoyz podcast. Just
SadBoyz
search it.
podcast.
SadBoyz with a Z.
Wait, I had to say something for the Patreon too. Patreon, or not for the page, for the normal. Am I on the normal still? Yeah, normal still. Guess what? I'm working really hard, and I have found a company that will actually ship out tier 2 things. So if you're tier 2, you will start getting stickers and shit. And body pillows are starting to be produced as well. So I'm putting in work, and Hassan's doing nothing.
I'm not doing anything.
But
straight up.
just so you know, we did find a company, so soon, hopefully within the next month or two, you will start getting things. Woo!
Hell yeah. Do you guys, SadBoyz podcast?
Patreon.com/SadBoyz also.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
No, there's no also.
All right. We'll see you on the other side, behind the paywall.
Bye.
Peace.
I have a beef with a Fear and viewer.
Oh, good.
Yeah, also, I want to hear the thing that you were about
Also,
to say.
I'll do that
Yeah.
thing too. But I had my first stand-up comedy show.
Whoa.
Let's go.
I know.
Fuck.
I'm
Why
talking
did
about
you
it
talk
here,
about
I
it
guess.
on the fucking-
We were talking about other shit. Why are you mad?
It's such a good. It's such
I'm sorry
a good
we talked about
Wait,
stuff.
that's so sick.
You guys see
Yeah.
like a preview of the bonus on the main? That could be it.
There's your clip. And so I did stand up for the first time in front of an audience. It's great. Did a good job.
I want to know. Fuck, I have to know. God damn it. They're gonna get me. They're gonna get me. Okay. Let's see. This is probably gonna take a while. Let's just start here.
Be a lawyer. It's a hell of a time to be a lawyer. The US Supreme Court is embroiled in corruption scandals. The British government wants judges to ignore the European Court of Human Rights. 2 prime ministers and 1 home secretary broke the law whilst in office, and 1 former president has been indicted. It is a hell of a time to be a lawyer. Fortunately, I am a hell of a lawyer. Hi. My name's Trixie Mephistopheles from the law firm Beelzebub and Jones. My services cost $500 an hour.
My God. My God. Ah! Delay. This is so fucking iconic. I love everything. God, she's so good.
And I'm also a lawyer. The law can do a lot of good, protect the vulnerable, give justice to the wronged. It can also do a lot of bad, intimidate, silence, bully, rob, destroy. As a demon, that's why I like it. But quite apart from the law's effects, there's also the question of what it is. If certain people can just ignore it, why have it there? In England and Wales, less than 2% of result in charges. And if that law goes unenforced 98% of the time, what even is the law? The question of what law is pretty important because it has an immediate bearing on whether we ought to obey it. For example, let's say the law is an expression of God's will. If God exists, it's a good idea to do what they say, or you could find yourself renting an apartment in hell, where the landlords are almost as bad as London. On the other hand, if the law is made up on the spot by the powerful, then perhaps we have a reason to be naughty. Let's try a couple of theories, just to get warmed up. Let's say the law is an expression of morality. There's good and there's evil, and the law just writes it down. But there must be more to it than that, because sometimes the law can make us do things that are immoral. For example, racial segregation used to be enforced by law. And sometimes the law doesn't seem to have anything to do with morality.
Yeah. Legality and morality are not the same thing.
Whatsoever. For example, pirating academic textbooks. Illegal. Yes. Immoral. Well, you'd better hope not. Let's try again. Say the law is a prediction. If you do certain crimes, there will be certain consequences. But as we've already noted, often there are no consequences for breaking the law. In fact, most reported crimes go unsolved. If your employer or your landlord broke the law in their treatment of you, could you afford a lawyer to inflict consequences? Probably not. Definitely not if it's me. But the threat of consequences is usually enough to keep people in line. Let's try that then. The law is a command. This was the opinion of English philosopher John Austin. He said that laws are expressions of desire on the part of a sovereign, like a king or parliament, that people behave in certain ways. Those desires come to us in the form of a command backed up by a threat of force. Moreover, Austin said that laws are general commands. Kneel down. Bend over. Put on these cat ears. Those are commands. They are expressions of desire. And they are backed up by a threat of force. But they only apply to a specific person, time, and place. Laws, on the other hand, are general. They apply over a wide range of circumstances, people, and times.
Laws, or rules, properly so called, are a species of commands. A command is distinguished from other significations of desire, not by the style in which the desire is signified, but by the power and the purpose of the party commanding to inflict an evil or pain in case the desire be disregarded. If you are able and willing to harm me in case I comply not with your wish, the expression of your wish amounts to a command, although you are prompted by a spirit of courtesy to utter it in the shape of a request.
Austin's theory has some problems, though, some of which we've already mentioned. What is international law under this framework? Not much of a threat of force backing that up, so is it not real law? If an army invaded your country and started giving general commands for the population backed up by a threat of force, would that count as valid law? Austin's theory is a classic, but it's...
Yeah, the state has a monopoly on violence. Whatever state seizes that monopoly, then has it, yeah.
Remembered these days more for being a good try than actually making sense. Kind of like the fourth Indiana Jones film. Solid effort, but nobody's favorite. Perhaps we should be systematic, rather than stabbing in the dark. The philosopher Joseph Raz says there are broadly 3 approaches for trying to define law, and the first is to check the dictionary. So, according to the Encyclopedic Textbook of American Law, the law is defined as access to the Encyclopedic Textbook of American Law can be purchased for $400 an hour. Damn it. The second is to ask a lawyer. And I could do it myself, but I happen to know a human lawyer who owes me a favor. Once upon a time, I gave him 7 years of fame, fortune, and dashing good looks, and he gave me his soul. So please welcome Devin from the channel LegalEagle. Oh, Devin!
Yes, Trixie, what is it?
What is the law?
This isn't even legal advice. There is no accepted definition of...
This feels so real. I love this.
Of what the law is or is not, even among lawyers. I mean, if you ask a normal person, you're probably gonna get an answer like it is the things that the legislature passes, the bills that then become law and then govern a certain given population. But if you ask a lawyer, they'll probably get even more granular, and they'll explain that while there are these statutes that are passed by a legislature, a government, there's also the Constitution, as well as the judge-made law. At least in the United States, we have a whole corpus of jurisprudence that is not passed by a particular Congress, but it is created in the common law as cases come before a court. The courts will then decide different things and fill in some of the gaps that are left by the laws themselves, or at least the statutes that have been passed. But then, obviously that doesn't include all of the things that qualify as a law within a given society. You have all kinds of unwritten laws, various formal and informal rules that a given population follows.
Dude. This, and anytime anyone talks about the law or a court case or anything having to do with the law, I always think of The Trial by Kafka. That book really fucks with my mind on like a deep level. Let me see what I can get in the preview. It's chapter 1. Awesome. Okay. I'll just read a little bit. It's actually such a good book. Chapter 1, Arrest. Conversation with Mrs. Grubach, then Mrs. Bernster. Burstner. Someone must have been telling lies about Joseph K. He knew he had done nothing wrong, but one morning he was arrested. Every day at 8 in the morning, he was brought his breakfast by Mrs. Grubach's cook. Mrs. Grubach was his landlady, but today she didn't come. That had never happened before. Okay. Wait, no. Kay waited a while. Looked for his pillow at the old woman, who lived opposite and who was watching him with an inquisitiveness quite unusual for her. And finally, both hungry and disconcerted, rang the bell. There was an immediate knock at the door, and a man entered. He had never seen the man before in his house. He was slim but firmly built. His clothes were black and close-fitting, many folds and pockets, buckles and buttons, and a belt, all of which gave the clear impression of being very practical, but without making it very clear what they were actually for. That's like such an apt description of all police uniforms. Just a bunch of buttons and shit for what? Oh. Who are you? Asked Kay, sitting half upright in his bed. The man, however, ignored his question as if his arrival had to be accepted and merely replied, "You rang?" "Anna should have brought me my breakfast," said Kay. He tried to work out who the man actually was, first in silence, just through observation, and by thinking about it, but the man didn't stay still to be looked at for very long. Instead, he went over to the door, opened it slightly, and said to someone who was clearly standing immediately behind it, "He wants Anna to bring him breakfast." There was a little laughter in the neighboring room. It was not clear from the sound of whether it was several people laughing. The strange man could not have learned anything from it that he didn't know already. But now he said to Kay, as if making his report, "It is not possible." "It would be the first time that's happened," said Kay, as he jumped out of bed and quickly pulled his trousers. "I want to see who is in that next room, and uh why is that Mrs. Grubach has let me be disturbed this way?" It immediately occurred to him that he needn't have said this out loud, and that he must, to some extent, have acknowledged their authority by doing so, but that didn't seem important to him at the time. Never acknowledge their authority. No, you obviously have to. That's satire. Let me just... Okay. That at least is how the stranger took it, as he said, "Don't you think it'd be better to stay where you are? I want neither to stay nor to be spoken to by you until you've introduced yourself." "I mean it for your own good," said the stranger, and opened the door, this time without being asked. The next room, which Kay entered more slowly than he had intended, looked at first glance exactly the same as it had the previous evening. It was Mrs. Grubach's living room, overfilled with furniture, tablecloths, porcelain, and photographs. Perhaps there was little more space in there than usual today, but if so, it was not immediately obvious, especially as the main difference was the presence of a man sitting by the open window, with a book from which he looked up. "You should have stayed in your room. Didn't Franz tell you?" "And what is it that you want then?" said Kay, looking back and forth between this new acquaintance and the one named Franz, who had remained in the doorway. Through the open window, he noticed the old woman again, who had come close to the window opposite so that she could continue to see everything. She was showing an inquisitiveness that really made it seem like she was going senile. "I want to see Mrs. Grubach," said Kay, making movement as if tearing himself away from the two men, even though they were standing well away from him, and wanted to go. "No," said the man at the window, who threw his book down on the coffee table and stood up. "You can't go away when you're under arrest." "That's how it seems," said Kay. "And why am I under arrest?" he then asked. "That's something we're not allowed to tell you. Go into your room and wait there. Proceedings are underway, and you'll learn about everything in a good time." "It's not really part of my job to be friendly towards you like this, but I hope no one, apart from Franz, will hear about it, and he's been more friendly towards you than he should have been, under the rules, himself. If you carry on having as much good luck as you have been with your arresting officers, then you can reckon on things going well with you." Kay wanted to sit down, but then he saw that apart from the chair by the window, there was nowhere anywhere in the room he could sit. "You'll get a chance to see for yourself how true this all is," said Franz, and both men walked up to Kay. They were significantly bigger than him, especially the second man, who frequently slapped him on the shoulder. The two of them felt Kay's nightshirt and said he would now have to wear one that was of much lower quality, but then they would have to keep the nightshirt along with his other underclothes and return them to him if his case turned out well. "It's too real, dude. It's better for you if you give us these things, than if you leave them in the storeroom," they said. "They have a tendency to go missing in the storeroom, and after a certain amount of time, they sell things off, and whether the case involved has come to an end or not. And cases like this can last a long time, especially the ones that have been coming up lately. They'd give you the money they got for them, but it wouldn't be very much, as it's not what they're offered for them when they sell them that counts. It's how much they get slipped on the side. And things like that lose their value anyway, when they get passed on hand to hand, year after year." Still hasn't been told what he's arrested for. He paid hardly any attention to what they were saying. He did not place any value on what he may have still possessed or on who decided what happened to him. It was much more important to him to get a clear understanding of his position, but he could not think clearly while these people were here. The second policeman's belly, and they could only be policemen, looked friendly enough, sticking out towards him. But when Kay looked up and saw his dry, bony face, it did not seem to fit with the body. His strong nose twisted to one side as if ignoring Kay and sharing and understanding with the other policemen. What sort of people were these? What were they talking about? What office did they belong to? Kay was living in a free country, after all. Everywhere was at peace. All laws were decent and were upheld. Who was it who had dared accost him in his own home? He was inclined to take life as lightly as he could, cross bridges when he came to them, paid no heed for the future, even when everything seemed under threat. But here, that did not seem to be the right thing to do. He could have taken it all as a big joke set up by his colleagues at the bank for some unknown reason. Or also, perhaps because today was his 30th birthday. It was all possible, of course. Maybe all he had to do was laugh in the policeman's face in some way, and they would laugh with him. Maybe they were tradesmen from the corner of the street. They looked like they might be. But he was nonetheless determined. Ever since he first caught sight of the one called Franz, not to lose any slight advantage he might have had over these people. There was a very slight risk that these people would later say he couldn't understand a joke, but although he wasn't normally in the habit of learning from his experience, he might also have a few unimportant occasions in mind. Unlike his more cautious friends, he had acted with no thought at all for what might follow, and had been made to suffer for it. He didn't want that to happen again, not this time at least. If they were play acting, he would act along with them. He still had time. "Allow me," he said, and hurried between the two policemen through into his room. He seemed sensible enough, he heard them say behind him. Once in his room, he quickly pulled up his drawer and writing desk. Everything in it was tidy, but in his agitation, he was unable to find the identification documents he was looking for straight away. He finally found his bicycle permit and was about to go back to the policeman with it when it seemed to him too petty, so he carried on searching until he found his birth certificate. Just as he got back in the adjoining room, the door on the other side opened and Mrs. Brubach was about to enter. Okay, so it goes on like this, and it's all like this, just like huge blocks of prose with absolutely fucking nothing happening. And he goes on to like ask everyone, why have I been arrested? Why am I here? What have I been charged with? And it's just more of that, like, oh, we can't tell you. Like, oh, we can't reveal it at this time. You'll find out. You just have to go ask this guy. Like, oh, like the judge will tell you, like, oh no, like your lawyer's gonna tell you, no, you actually have to like read all the laws. It's just like painstaking as fuck, but God, I do love this book. It's clearly written by someone who like had experience in the legal system. It's like just endless bureaucracy. And if you miss like a letter or an email or a call or whatever, it's a jover. Like now there's a warrant. Let me see the cross-examination. It's a very good book. I think about it like kind of a lot. I might read it again. I have to get another copy. How are we to avoid those in office becoming so deeply corrupt when everything is devoid of meaning? This book, it really hits. That is impossible. Not even the highest judge would be able to achieve that for himself. That is why policemen try to steal the clothes off the back of those who they arrest. That is why supervisors break into the homes of people they do not know. That is why innocent people are humiliated in front of crowds rather than being given a proper trial. The policemen only talked about the warehouses where they put the property of those they arrest. I would like to see if those warehouses where the hard-won possessions of people under arrest is left to decay, if, that is, it's not stolen by the thieving hands of the warehouse workers. Oh! Oh! It's so good. It's very good. Two police thugs occupying the next room. They could not have taken better precautions if I had been a dangerous robber. And these policemen were unprincipled riffraff and talked to me till I was sick of it. They wanted bribes. They wanted to trick me into giving them my clothes. They wanted money, supposedly so that they could bring me my breakfast. And after that, they blatantly eaten my own breakfast in front of my own eyes. And even that was not enough. I was led into my front of the supervisor in another room. This was the room of a lady who I have a lot of respect for, and I was forced to look on while a supervisor of the police the policeman made quite a mess of this room because of me, although through not any fault of mine. It was not easy to stay calm, but I managed to do so and was completely calm when I asked the supervisor why it was that I was under arrest. If he were here, he would have to confirm what I say. I can see him now, sitting on the chair belonging to that lady I mentioned. A picture of a dull-witted arrogance. What do you think he answered? What he told me, the gentleman, was basically nothing at all. Perhaps he really did know nothing. He had placed me under the arrest and was satisfied. In fact, he had done more than that and brought 3 junior employees from the bank where I work into the lady's room. They made themselves busy interfering with some photographs that belonged to the lady and causing a mess. There was, of course, another reason for bringing these employees. They, just like my landlady and her maid, were expected to spread the news of my arrest and damage my public reputation, and in particular, remove me from my position in the bank. Well, they didn't succeed in any of that. Not in the slightest. Even my landlady, who is quite a simple person, and I will give you her full name in full respect. Her name is Mrs. Brubach. Even Mrs. Brubach was understanding enough to see that an arrest like this has no more significance than an attack carried out on the street by some youths who were not kept under proper control. I repeat, this whole affair has caused me nothing but unpleasantness and temporary irritation. But could it not have also had some far worse consequences? He broke off here and looked at the judge, who said nothing. As he did, he thought that he saw the judge use a movement of his eyes to give a sign to someone in the crowd. He smiled and said, "Now the judge, right next to me, is giving a secret sign to someone among you." He's losing it. He's losing it. There seems to be someone among you who is taking directions from above. I don't know whether the sign is meant to produce booing or applause, but I'll resist trying to guess what it is meaning too soon. It really doesn't matter to me, and I give his lordship, the judge, my full and public permission to stop using secret signs to his paid subordinate down there and give his orders. He's so brave. Imagine talking to a judge like this. It couldn't be me. Jesus Christ. And give his orders in words instead. Let them say boo now, and the next time clap now. Never represent yourself at trial. Don't do it.
Follows that may not actually be written into the law itself, but you create these norms and mores that people are going to follow. And then, of course, even if you're looking at the laws that are on the books or are created by different judges, not even all of those things are actually followed. So if you have a law on the books that no one actually enforces, is that considered part of the law? Well, that's an open question. So there's definitely a differing of opinion as between laws that are actually enforced by the state and those that aren't. And then you get into things like informal private laws. Is a contract between one person and another person in which those people agree to do or not do something, does that qualify as a form of the law itself? And this doesn't even scratch the surface of the legal positivism debate between H.L.A. Hart and Ronald Dworkin, which I'm not going to go into because, you don't pay me enough. So yeah, the law is a very complicated and complex subject with absolutely no agreement as to what qualifies and what doesn't.
A typically slippery answer. He won't be able to wriggle out of our contract so easily. Thank you, Devin.
Yeah, no problem, Trixie. It's my pleasure.
Well, fools though these mortals be, Devin did raise the interesting concept of rules and name-dropped an important soul with big ideas about what legal rules are. The philosopher H.L.A. Hart. Hart said that a legal system consists of two kinds of rules, primary and secondary. Primary rules require people to do or not do certain things, like don't kill anyone. Secondary rules allow you to alter the primary rules, or alter your own position relative to them by saying and doing certain things. For instance, the laws of marriage are secondary rules. They allow you to alter your legal position. If you go through the right processes, you could be lawfully wedded. One day. Perhaps. But as Devin said, society is full of rules. There are rules like don't kill anyone, and there are rules like don't burp at the dinner table, don't sleep with your neighbor's wife. How do we distinguish between the rules of custom and politeness and the rules of law? And remember, we can't pick enforcement as our criteria because laws are often unenforced. Hart said that at the bottom of a legal system is a master rule called the rule of recognition, which distinguishes all law from non-law. To say that a rule is a law is not to say that it is enforced or backed up by anything, merely that it passes the tests set forth in the rule of recognition. Those tests might be very simple, like everything the king says is law. They might be very complex, involving constitutions, legislation, and courts. It might even, and here's where things get really devilish, be unwritten. The test could just be whatever people accept as law is law. So the difference between legal rules and non-legal ones could be a matter of perspective. Hart goes on to say that there's a special perspective which comes with genuine legal rules. On one hand, you've got what he calls the external perspective. That's when people see the rules as something which forces them from the outside, for example, through a threat of force. But on the other hand, there's the special legal internal perspective, when people see the rules themselves as giving them a reason to act. The fact that the law says, do X, means I should do it. Not because it'll be good for me or because it's moral, but because it is the law. And what we're really talking about here is people viewing the law as authoritative, as giving them a reason to act. Raz says, imagine you have a dispute with your neighbor. He plants some trees that spoil your view and you cut them down, so he sues you. You take that case before an official arbitrator, like a judge, whose job is to consider the reasons on all sides. He spoiled my view, he destroyed my property, well, he only did that because I'm sleeping with his wife, and then to replace those reasons with authority. To say that whatever reasons you two had for acting the way that you did, now you get a new, final reason to do what I say, because I am the law.
The only proper way to acknowledge the arbitrator's authority is to take it to be the reason for action which replaces the reasons on the basis of which he was meant to decide. Dependent reasons are replaced by authoritative directives.
I can do a quick demonstration of this replacement idea now. There are many reasons why you should go to patreon.com/philosophytube and support this show. You'd be making me happy, you'd be making the crew happy.
Seamless. Fucking seamless.
We'd get to make more of these episodes for you to watch and enjoy, but I can take all of those reasons and replace them with the authority that I get from this gun. Patreon.com/philosophytube. Sign up now, motherfucker! But seriously, when it comes to courts and the law, Raz says the point is not to replace reason with blind force. On the contrary, you and your neighbor are both going to be biased towards yourselves. But the judge is dispassionate and trained in the law and isn't sleeping with anybody's wife except his own. He is therefore in a better position to be reasonable than either of you. Raz says legal authorities act as a mediator between disputants and reasons. Or at least they are supposed to. The American Supreme Court is under some scrutiny at the moment because some of their judges accepted very expensive gifts that they did not disclose from people who had cases before the court and then ruled in favor of those people. If that is what it looks like, then the court would no longer be dispassionately mediating between reasons and disputants, which would therefore undermine its authority. People might be less inclined to take the internal point of view with regards to the court's rulings and instead see the law as something forced on them externally. And speaking of enforcement, perhaps we should put the theory we've learned so far to the test and see how it stacks up in the real world. Because law isn't just for judges and courts. Raz says the third method for defining it is to see.
I can't stop thinking, like, how did she do her hair like this? How the fuck? It's magic. It looks so cool.
See how it interacts with institutions. So if we really want to know what it is, then I'll grab my handcuffs and you pull out your truncheon and let's talk about the police.
Yes, mommy. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay. As you wish.
This is
yes, officer.
Tango Juliet Foxtrot by Ian Donnelly. Donnelly was a British police officer for 30 years, and in this memoir he reveals his very interesting perspective on what law and law enforcement is. Spoilers, he doesn't think like philosophers say he should. But before we dive in, I need to bring my international viewers up to speed on some context, because most of my audience is American, and policing in the USA is different in some important ways from policing here. In particular, Donnelly talks a lot about austerity, so we need to know what that is. In 2008, the global economy went kaplunk, because it turned out the financial part of it was largely built on housing debt that people couldn't actually pay back. In response, the British government decided not to fundamentally alter the way we do finance or housing, but to cut back massively on public spending. They made huge budget cuts to youth programs, education, the arts, healthcare, just about every government department, cuts which are referred to as austerity. The stated goal of austerity was to reduce the government's budget deficit. It failed to do that, and seems to have resulted in somewhere between 100,000 and 300,000 deaths, which seem to have been concentrated in the most deprived areas of the country. Many of these cuts are still in effect today, and the politicians responsible have faced no consequences. At time of recording. police budgets were included in austerity. So immediately, big difference from the USA. As I understand it, a lot of American cops are quite well paid and get a lot of fancy new toys from the army, with variation between states, of course. In Britain, police officers' pay has decreased in real terms over the last 10 years. A lot of police stations have actually been closed. There's been a big drop in recruitment, and there are even reports that some officers are having to use food banks. So when people talk about defunding the police, in Britain, we kind of did. The trouble is, instead of putting that money into social services, we defunded everything. And Donnelly doesn't pull his punches when it comes to the impact this has had. He says the police have kind of become the only social service left in Britain. People who should be getting mental health care or addiction treatment are getting nothing, their problems develop into crises, and the cops have to clean up the mess. Or young people who should be in some kind of education or training have nothing to do, no money, no future to look forward to, and so they turn to crime. At the same time as the workload is increasing, there aren't enough officers to do the job. Everybody's overworked, underpaid, burning out, and getting poached by the private sector. As a result, it's a great time to start a new career as a criminal.
Neighborhood policing is now almost non-existent because of the loss of thousands of police officers, police staff, and the closure of hundreds of police stations. Detection rates for crimes solved by the police have plummeted and are now at an all-time low. The charge of
Why do I feel like this might not be true? Funding. I can't imagine. Who is this guy? I am Donald. Donnelly was a police officer for 30 years. Yeah, I feel like she's setting this up to tear it apart.
Prosecution rate for total recorded crime in England and Wales sat at a relatively stable and respectable rate of around 16% in the years leading up to 2015. This figure has steadily fallen year on year to a rather dismal and embarrassing rate of 7% in 2020. Any member of the British public that's unfortunate enough to become a victim will have little expectation that the police will catch or charge the criminal who was responsible. And for criminals, there has never been a better time to commit a crime in the UK.
Donnelly also says the police have to spend a lot of time doing stuff that makes the government happy, but which isn't actually useful. For example, say the directive comes down from the Home Office that the police need to do more to highlight diversity. Some bright spark comes up with an idea, hey, let's send an officer out in a rainbow patterned car and post pictures of it on social media, and that person gets a pat on the head and a nice promotion. But a lot of LGBT people don't buy that act for a second, and meanwhile, there's actual crimes going unsolved. Speaking only for myself, as an L, not G, maybe B, notorious T, I'm not filled with confidence when I see cops wearing rainbows. One time at a protest, I was thrown to the ground by an officer wearing a rainbow pride pin. I paused in midair to appreciate the irony before I collided with London's uncompromising pavement. Donnelly says all this crap results in a time-wasting management culture within the police force that focuses more on key performance indicators and gathering good data for government reports than actually doing the job.
If a crime was assessed as too difficult or time-consuming to solve, it received very little attention, whereas crimes that were easier to solve received a gold standard of service because they would generate a Home Office-approved detection and points-mean prizes. New offenses reported by members of the public in the previous 24 hours were subjected to a microscopic level of scrutiny. Not necessary to try and figure out who had committed them, perish the thought, but to reclassify them as something that didn't get measured. The primary purpose of policing, protecting the public, became almost secondary to chasing Home Office targets, and the rules were pushed to the absolute limit to hit those targets.
So, this is the context in which Donnelly is writing. British policing is on its arse. Now we can examine his arguments. I'm going to be as generous as I can and try and critique them on their own terms, so I'll start with what I liked about the book. Donnelly's comments about austerity definitely chimed with what I've heard from teachers and doctors who report similar problems with overwork, underfunding, and bureaucracy. And I really like those moments where somebody says something and I go, oh, hey, you know, that's what all these other people have been saying too, because it's like, yay, mutual understanding. He also writes quite powerfully about the link between poverty and crime. And that reminded me that I should stay intellectually humble here. Cards on the table, I'm...
Okay, but also, he's a cop, so ACAP. It's so hard for me to empathize with, like, the austerity measures affecting cops. I don't really give a fuck. Figure it out.
Pretty left-wing. I do my best to always be neutral on this show, but I'm somebody who at least claims to care about the conditions that my fellow humans live in. But police officers like Donnelly probably see more of the real deprivation and poverty in this country than I do. And that was a sobering thought. Now, let's consider what the law is, as Donnelly presents it. He tells us about the oath he took when he became a cop, which was to serve the Queen and keep the peace, and to discharge his duties in service of those objectives according to law. And immediately, that's an interesting detail. According to the oath, the law provides the method for doing the job, but it is not the job itself. Donnelly says the job is to protect people. And that's also interesting, because protecting people and enforcing the law are not the same thing. One would hope that they normally go together, but it's noticeable that Donnelly separates them. In fact, he even says that the law can sometimes get in the way of protecting people. For example, the Freedom of Information Act and the Human Rights Act. And if you're very clever, you'll already have linked this back to what H.L.A. Hart said in part 1. Donnelly seems to be taking the external point of view with regards to the law. He thinks that officers should obey it because if you don't, you're a liability and because you might get in trouble, but he doesn't seem to think it provides an authoritative reason to act on its own. So what does? Donnelly lists the qualities he thinks a frontline officer should have. They should have a good memory and an eye for detail and so on. I noticed that knowing the law was not on that list. He also lists the ways you can spot a criminal. Is their body language confrontational? Are they looking around a lot? Are they anxious? And none of the things he lists are illegal. You're allowed to be anxious in public. I was anxious when I stepped out of my front door this.
No, yeah, like, some people just have anxiety disorders. Like, that's the number one thing cops will say to me. Like, oh, why are you anxious? Like, generalized anxiety disorder. I literally can't help it.
This morning. Although in fairness, I could have worn a coat. And then Donnelly says this.
An experienced police officer can spot criminal behavior and criminals instantly. Not because they're doing anything dramatic at that moment, but because they behave differently to law-abiding people. It's very hard to describe this sense.
How?
That someone's up to no good, particularly when giving
vibes
evidence in court. A court focuses solely on evidence, facts, and verifiable events.
This is a stunning admission that policing, in Donnelly's eyes anyway, does not rely solely on evidence, facts, verifiable events, or the law. And this becomes a bit of a theme with him. By the way, heads up, you are watching the YouTube version of this video, not the Nebula version. There are certain words that I need to say now, which if you say them out loud on YouTube, risk the video getting demonetized. In particular, when I'm talking about what YouTube calls controversial events. So, the words that I mean will appear on the screen like this. Donnelly talks a lot about police officers using their discretion. In particular, their power to stop members of the public and search us for... Stop and search is a hot button issue in Britain. A lot of officers think that it's just a normal crime prevention tactic that gets needlessly politicized, and Donnelly seems to agree. He says junior officers are too timid about using it, too afraid of being seen as racist or whatever, and that he has personally witnessed officers stop and search members of the public who seemed innocuous to him, only to find they were in fact carrying, presumably not all at the same time. And that's amazing. The police spidey sense at work. But I noticed that Donnelly does not cite any statistics about stop and search. And I'm a good little nerd who always does her homework, so I went away and I looked them up. Between March 2021 and 22 in England and Wales, there were just over 500,000 stop and searches performed. Of those, 75% led to no further action by police. No arrest, no formal caution, no charges, nothing.
Dude, well, 1 for 3 is not good. That's not a good hit rate. Fucking useless. Useless.
And in fairness, we could allow a little bit of wiggle room here because stop and search can be used for the stop part. Like if it's all kicking off at a protest and the police want to put the brakes on somebody, they can stop and search them, which keeps them in one spot and reminds them to behave. Those stop and searches usually aren't going to find anything because they're not supposed to. So, okay, let's give them a little bit of leeway and be generous. But still, it is a fact.
That's not the purpose of a stop and frisk.
That when officers use their discretion and instincts in the way Donnelly recommends, most of the time, they are wrong. And it's kind of weird that he doesn't mention that. From those same stats, I learned that black people in England and Wales are about 6 times more likely to be stopped and searched than white people, and Asian people about twice as likely. And Donnelly acknowledges that people of colour are more likely to be stopped and searched, arrested, charged, imprisoned, spend time in police custody, and die in police custody. And he says this has nothing to do with racism and more to do with alcohol, poverty, housing, and something he calls sudden death in restraint syndrome. That piqued my interest because I'd never heard of it. So again, I went and looked it up. The theory is that if somebody exercises very strenuously in a short burst, say by running away from the cops, and then gets restrained, this might do something to their heart or their blood oxygen that then causes them to die? Maybe? There have been studies done on this. Here's just a few that I found with a quick Google. You're welcome to go and read them if you're training to be a police officer or you're really into BDSM. None of those studies have proven the existence of any such syndrome in a clinical setting. On the other hand, trying to be generous here, maybe some people have pre-existing conditions that are brought on by a struggle, or maybe are involved. Whatever the truth of the matter, I noticed that Donnelly doesn't even try to cite the medical literature. He just says sudden death and restraint syndrome like it definitely exists, and then moves on. And at this point, my spidey sense was tingling. I was like, there's a philosophy somewhere in here. Quick, fetch the tube! I'm going somewhere with this, so stick with me. Donnelly says, time and again, that police officers are not supported. And part of what he means is that they don't have enough resources to do the job because of austerity. But he also seems to be using the word support in a different sense.
Officers now have almost no expectation whatsoever of being supported by the courts, the media, the government, or for that matter, their own organization if they make an honest mistake. That's
What do you mean? Oh yeah, they don't have police unions. Wait, do they? Wait. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. The media fucking loves cops. They're sucking off cops all day.
That's what people don't understand about the police. It's generally not the things that you have to deal with that stress you out. It's trying to deal with an atmosphere where you know if something goes wrong, you'll be hung out to dry by the media, by the courts, by the chief officers who will cave to political pressures and won't have your back.
Now look, I don't doubt that policing can be stressful and even traumatizing. Donnelly makes that very clear. He also says that sometimes when you're a cop, you get put in situations where there's not really a right answer and you're gonna get criticized whatever you do, but you have to do something. And yeah, I can see how that would be upsetting. His frustration and his hurt really come across. I understand.
Boo! ACAB! Why are you being so nice to cops? Abigail? The fuck?
The emotional core of what he is saying. However, as I'm
There we go.
Reading this, I'm wondering, what do you mean when you say police officers aren't supported? Because the facts show that cops in Britain frequently are supported. Donnelly himself says it's almost impossible to sack a bad cop.
Challenging bad behavior, sloppy work, or laziness almost inevitably results in some sort of formal grievance
Which is it? Which is it?
procedure, allegations of bullying, or repeated periods of sickness or absenteeism. The systems currently in place for getting rid of lazy or unprofessional police officers are unbelievably bureaucratic, time-consuming, and ineffectual.
And he's not alone in this opinion. The Commissioner of the Metropolitan Police himself was recently interviewed on the BBC and said this.
Police regulations make this harder than it ought to be in terms of processing misconduct and sacking people. We've got some officers who we sacked, but other legal bodies who have a power to reinstate them did. So I've got officers that we determine shouldn't be police officers, and yet I have to keep them. I'm the commissioner, and yet I can't decide who my own workforce is. We have some very worrying cases with officers who have committed criminality whilst police officers, and yet I'm not allowed to sack them. It's crazy.
And even when things go really wrong, it sure seems like cops are supported. In 2005, an innocent man named
John Charles Menezes. Menezes.
whilst minding his own business on the tube. The police officer in charge of that operation, Cressida Dick, was not only allowed to remain on the force, she was promoted. In 2009, a man named
Ian Tomlinson.
The officer who did that had 10 previous complaints for excessive force against him, but was still on the streets. And then there's
David Carrick.
There were multiple complaints about him that went nowhere. And of course,
Wayne Couzens.
his nickname,
oh yeah, Sarah Everard, yeah,
was literally, but he was allowed to remain on the force until he did that.
Jesus. Yeah, that case was a huge deal. Lots of people were fucking so outraged about this. Unbelievable. Fucking piece of shit, dude. Literally nicknamed the rapist and they couldn't fire him. That's bullshit.
His nickname was literally, but he was allowed to remain on the force until he did that. So clearly, sometimes police officers are supported a little bit too much. And Donnelly acknowledges this. I don't think he's deliberately trying to lie, but I was racking my brains trying to figure out, what do you mean you're not supported?
Cognitive dissonance. It's a hell of a drug. When that cognitive dissonance hit, you're faded off the cognitive dissonance.
And the penny finally dropped when he discusses the McPherson Report. For international viewers, let me give you the quick version. In April of 1993, a young black man named
Stephen Lawrence.
The police investigation was a little bit of a dog's breakfast. There were leads that weren't followed up on, it took too long to arrest anybody, so his family started a campaign to get justice, and then undercover officers tried to sabotage that campaign. It was a real mess. So the government ordered an inquiry, which concluded that the initial investigation was incompetent and the Metropolitan Police were institutionally racist. That inquiry was called the McPherson Report. It was a landmark moment in modern British history. And Donnelly says this.
From that time onwards, British policing lost its confidence and became a deeply fearful, risk-averse institution in which officers started to anticipate calamity around every corner, even when dealing with quite trivial incidents. Police managers had seen the way that anyone even loosely involved with the Stephen Lawrence case had been treated by the courts and by the media, and they became terrified of finding themselves in the same position.
And suddenly,
Wow.
it hit me.
Wow. People expect me to do my job and not kill people. Oh.
Donnelly does not dispute any of the findings of the report. He doesn't go through it and say, this is what it says and this is why I think it's wrong. His problem with it is that it was bad for morale. Just like with stop and search and deaths in custody, he's not talking about facts. I think when he says officers aren't supported, what
Vibe-based. Just vibes-based the entire book.
he means is it hurts his feelings when people criticize them. And yeah, I'm sure it does. But genuinely, what do we do when the facts about policing are not kind? Donnelly's answer seems to be that you ignore them. So, Donnelly's theory of policing and the law seems to be something like this. I make a decision. I make it based on instinct, not facts. You should trust my instincts because I'm a good guy. And therefore, my decision should not be questioned by anyone who isn't a cop. In fact, the entire business of subjecting police decisions to reasoned factual criticism in the public sphere is fundamentally wrong. Have you ever seen the film A Few Good Men? Basically, he's doing Jack Nicholson in that. We seem to be quite a long way from the idea that the law is based on reasons or rules. Donnelly's not mediating between reasons and disputants. By his own admission, he's operating on his subjective judgment. If there are rules in play here, they are more vague and woolly than, for example, the rules of computer programming. Clearly, we need to go deeper. Let's think more deeply about rules and see if we can explain all this. Hart said that rules try to set a general standard, and therefore, in order to use them, we have to decide whether the case we are considering counts as a specific instance of the general type of action to which the rule refers. For example, if the rules say, don't kill anyone, and you shoot somebody, that's a specific instance, shooting, of the general type of action, killing, to which the rule refers. And we know, therefore, that the rule applies in this case. But there'll always be cases where we aren't sure if the rule applies or not. For example, say you shoot someone, but seconds earlier they have a heart attack and get struck by lightning and get hit by a car. Did you kill them? Is that specific action an instance of the general type to which the rule refers? That's an open question. Hart says that rules have open texture. There are central cases when we know they obviously apply, but there are also fringe cases where we have a penumbra of doubt. Great phrase. And that's a deliberately unrealistic example.
Penumbra, great word.
I just gave. But consider words like reasonable, safe, fair. Words used all the time in written law that don't have precise definitions. They are vague. A famous real-life example would be the 1964 American Supreme Court case Jacobellis v. Ohio, which revolved around whether the state of Ohio could ban a film they called obscene. The American Constitution protects obscenity except for, which, it turns out, is a vague term. There's no precise formula for how much ass needs to be shown on screen for how long and from what angles to count as that, which led Justice Potter Stewart to coin the now famous definition of I know it when I see it. And what this comes down to is somebody somewhere deciding whether the rule applies. Is it safe? Is it fair? Is it reasonable? Is it obscene? The words on the page won't tell you. A human being has to make a choice. Now, philosophers, including Hart, say that it's important.
Yeah. That's why we have juries, right? Because just a few people aren't going to be able to decide just amongst themselves. A judge is subject to the bias. It's better to have a group deciding, based on the evidence presented. But then, of course, like, juries don't always know, like, the letter of the law. So that kind of breaks down a little bit.
Not to overstate this vagueness. The law is not completely made up with absolutely no constraints. It's just that sometimes, rarely, a judge has to fill in the gaps. But those same philosophers tend to focus on judges and courts, probably because a lot of them used to be lawyers. And I think this idea has more play than they realize, because it's the act of choosing that Donnelly emphasizes. If his views are representative of police officers, then the vagueness of law will structure most people's frontline interactions with it. And we can see this very clearly with a little look at history. In February of 1981, police in Toronto, Canada conducted Operation Soap, during which they raided 4 bathhouses. The legal justification they used was these were bawdy houses, brothels, basically, which was against the rules. But these 4 bathhouses in particular were gay bathhouses. The police assaulted several people, yelled homophobic slurs at them, smashed walls and lockers even whilst being offered the keys, dragged people naked into the snow, and said some truly horrible things.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
This ended up being a significant historical moment, and it's also a nice little illustration of why LGBT people, sex workers, and people of color hang together. I sometimes see straight cis people go, oh, why is it LGB and T? Like, isn't T a different thing? And sometimes it is. But the officer who shoves you against a wall and calls you a doesn't particularly care about the nuances. Incidentally, the Canadian media supported this. One columnist in the Toronto Star described gay men as social terrorists intent on establishing totalitarian rule in our country. 2 things. Firstly, totalitarian gay rule has not been established in Canada since 1981, unless there's been some big changes since I was last there. So firstly, this columnist was just straight up wrong. But secondly, the British journalist Helen Joyce described trans people as terrorists in May of this year and called for increased policing against us. There's nothing original being made these days. It's all sequels and remakes. But what's interesting for our educational purposes is the police went beyond the letter of the law and selectively applied it. The rules didn't say that they had to use homophobic slurs and excessive violence, but they chose to do that. The rules also didn't say they had to target gay bawdy houses more than straight ones, but they chose that too. Lest we think this sort of thing is confined to history, the policing of sex workers still operates in a similar fashion. The difference between wearing a sexy outfit on the street because it looks nice and wearing a sexy outfit because you are manifesting a criminal intent to commit prostitution often comes down to a police officer making a choice about where and whether they are going to apply the law. And the facts show that these rules are often applied disproportionately against trans women of color. The vagueness of law comes from the vagueness of language itself. And in fact, we can imagine the law as being a little bit like a language, the language of legalese, if you like. The law has content, but it also has grammar, which means you can construct new sentences in legalese that haven't been said before, but which still make sense. For example,
yeah, like, that's why it takes so long to get through law school. You have to study the law for many years to be a lawyer. But to enforce it, a few months.
Operation Soap. The police chose to apply the law in a new way, which went beyond the letter, but kept the spirit. And because they were empowered to do so, their choice became the law.
The raids were not just about crimes. Since bawdy house provisions have been enforced sporadically, if at all, They were about regulation. The men in blue were there to intimidate, humiliate, and control gay male space and sexuality. They were there to enforce a particular order, one that is intrinsically heterosexual, one in which proper men are ultra-masculine, punch holes in walls, smash glass, and pick on little kids.
What is the law? It seems there isn't an answer, because the law is indeterminate. Not completely, but more so than we might have thought. Sometimes in philosophy we discover the question is unanswerable, which leaves us only with the bigger question, how do we feel about that? On the one hand, it's rather frightening. As we saw from Operation Soap, judges and cops are empowered to make choices that acquire the force of law, choices which are supposed to be based on rules and evidence which anyone can examine, but which, as we've seen, might not be. Not only is that a little frightening, it also rather undermines the point of law, which is to authoritatively settle disputes. There's a reason that judges use the language of deducing rulings rather than choosing them. The law is supposed to be fixed and clear and impartial. As soon as we start talking about choices, well, then we might start questioning those choices. On the other hand, the indeterminacy of law might be useful. The philosopher Timothy Endicott says a vague rule can empower people far more than a precise one ever could. Here's a real-world example. In the United Kingdom, the law prohibits discrimination against lesbians, but it does not explicitly define what lesbianism is. And according to the Oxford English Dictionary, lesbianism is a great use of a Saturday night. There is a tiny group.
That's true. That's accurate.
Of people who want the government to set a precise legal definition, and in particular to exclude trans women from it. The term lesbianism is vague, legally speaking. And I, for one, think that's a good thing, because it allows people to choose whether or not it applies to them. It maximizes the freedom and self-determination of the population relative to the primary and secondary rules of the law. What is lesbianism? I know it. I know it when I see it. As a demon, of course, I have no feelings whatsoever. I can only tell you what the books say. You have to apply the forbidden knowledge for yourself. Or, if you prefer a little entertainment on the other side, you can also watch an award-winning play that I wrote. It's called The Prince. It was recorded live on stage in London. It has Shakespeare, sword fighting, vaguely defined lesbianism, all the delights of Elysium.
So cool. Very good, very good. Okay. Should we watch the Jarvis? I'm tired. Oh, why am I so tired? I did do a shit ton of shit. So many things today. It's a big day. No, I think I'm beat. I'm over it. I'm dead. I'm exhausted. Thank you for being here. I will be back tomorrow. Hopefully earlier since I got all the things done today. I appreciate you. I'll see you tomorrow. Drink some water, take care of yourself.